Austin, I think you're muted. I can see you talking, but I can't hear you.
I am muted. Okay. We're just talking about poetry so far. No, you haven't missed much. Where are you driving? Are you driving here? Okay.
She's dog sitting.
She's dog sitting. Okay, cool.
I'm I'm driving from one dog's house to another dog's house.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right. Well, how is everybody doing in a general sense today? Like, yeah, doing all right? You feeling? What was that?
She's fair. I said existing. We're
You're
existing.
existing. Yeah.
In a good way, though. All right.
Yeah.
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 I feel
Reba?
better than yesterday. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Lisa, what's the
Lisa,
face?
how are you doing?
I think I felt better yesterday.
Yeah, like what way? Just like physically and stuff?
But no, I taught Asana today and I just like have very mean inner critics and I can't let it go. So now I'm just in this like not great mental state.
Can we just talk about it real quick? Hang on, don't just coddle her. What went wrong?
Nothing.
Oh, then what's the negative?
He just gave me like very technical feedback.
Oh, technical feedback mean that's a compliment.
Nothing went wrong.
Yeah.
But my inner critic is like mean, very mean.
What's it saying?
Yeah.
Like you idiot. Like
For what? Let's
you
get
could have done this better, you could have done that better. Like it can't find anything good that I did. It just
All right.
sticks to the stuff that like I could have done better.
and that doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't, because it doesn't acknowledge anything nice ever.
So we need to acknowledge something nice about it.
I don't
The
know.
critic does.
Maybe.
You want to feel validated in what you did well.
Yeah.
Did Amy tell you what you did well?
Yeah.
What did she say? Yeah, what did she say?
Tell us what you did well.
I remember. This.
No, your cues were unique. They were cues we hadn't heard before, and how they resonated with each of us, remained with us throughout the practice and helped us feel differently in our body about the same posture we've been doing for a lifetime.
That's what I
Thanks,
felt
Sierra.
So your cues were phenomenal. Your attention to detail and your ability to move throughout the room and make every single, even if you didn't lay hands, you still I've never felt chair the way you made me feel chair. It was so good. I actually felt it. I usually can sit in chair for like 5 minutes and not be like upset about it. The way you made me do it, the 2 or 3 breaths we were there, I was like, oh my God, I'm working. The tapas were there.
Okay.
Like you.
Like I said yesterday, when you taught me one-on-one, because I didn't teach this morning, you're very intuitive on what the people need. Like you were very intuitive of knowing what I needed and just in your adjustments and your cueing, all of that. And so I can imagine you were the same way this morning.
Okay.
Do you-
I was seeking this validation.
No, but do you resonate? Do you resonate with some of that?
Yeah, I do. It's just like, you know,
Let's
me.
let's look at just the matrix. So how was your timing?
I was right on.
Okay. How was the sequence in terms of what you meant to deliver versus what got delivered?
Almost spot on.
So in the 90th percentile,
Yeah,
right? Okay. What about your voice? Was it clear, commanding, and direct?
I think so.
Okay. Were your cues appropriate, creative, and inspirational?
I don't know about inspirational, but I think.
Sounds like they were.
Yeah. Creative.
Okay, we can take that they were. Was your were your adjustments varied and frequent?
I really need to improve on the adjustments because it's an area I don't feel the most comfortable.
I was, okay, so I never got to tell you this during feedback because we ran out of time, but you did give really good adjustments. Like you got in there and were really firm, and the ones that you gave me felt super good.
Oh.
Yeah,
I think you're.
and I didn't get to say that, but you absolutely.
I think you're really caught up because you didn't learn the cambio adjustment.
I think that maybe is where I'm stuck because.
Here we are.
I didn't do the 200, and so
Yeah.
I kind of feel like what I'm doing isn't like cambio right.
Yeah,
No,
And
it
then
is
I
so
like,
right.
I'm not doing it right.
yeah.
And I wasn't seeking all salvation, so I feel bad this is turned about like that now, but I'm just.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually really important to call out because you and Maria and you didn't do the 200 here. So there is that difference, but exactly that, it's just a difference. It doesn't mean one's better or different. Here's the thing with teaching. Whenever we're talking about feedback, it should always be grounded in a really strong sense of why. So if I'm asking you something like, why did you do that? Or tell me about the chair pose or whatever, like there should be a why. But even me asking about it, there should be a why. So if we just continue to uncover what the whys are, it's not really a discussion of right or wrong, good and bad. It's just a discussion of like, what was the intention and did the intention achieve the impact? That's all it comes down to at the end. And yes, the Cambio sequence, we've been working really hard at making everything we teach in the 200-hour to be pretty well aligned, directed, and committed from intention to impact. But it doesn't mean it's the only way to do it, and the other ways to do it too. So, but that said, you could always learn more about the Cambio stuff too. Amber's. I need to text Amber back real quick because there's been a change of plans. She doesn't know. So actually, I'll text her and break. Okay, so let's start with talking about the sadhana. So yesterday I mentioned how, like, on one level, the sadhana now moving forward for you all, the encouragement, the level of I don't know, graduation now kind of asks that as a yoga teacher, you stay in relationship with a sadhana of some sort. Sadhana meaning like a spiritual practice. And like at the very bare minimum, a sadhana is something that applies your oxygen mask for you, right? So what is it for you all about the sadhana that does that? Like what's your non-negotiable piece of either the sadhana that we taught you or something else that like helps you right now on a daily basis that is just like, I know that I need to do this to make sure that my oxygen mask is on, secure and tight. So for me, Sankalpa. Like I do Sankalpa every single day without question. And if you don't have that right now, think about what that might be. Like, what do you know is good for you? What do you know is right for you in terms of taking care of yourself at the bare minimum?
Yeah, I try and do, I know if I can get at least a child's pose in with some Ujjayi breath in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
that helps me in like a little bit of meditation and then writing.
So like a check-in with the body, the breath.
Yeah, the breath and like, if I can do more movement, great. But if I only have time to like do a few breaths in a child's pose where I can really feel the contraction and expansion and connect with that and then sit up and kind of move through like a quiet moment in my head and then write or whatever it is, journal or poetry or whatever, then I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
I can be good.
Yeah.
I like to do more, but that's the
Yeah.
general.
I mean, I think that on the one hand, there's the question of sadhana as in like it's a practice of maintenance so that we don't forget that we're spiritual beings, that we don't move completely into the material world and the physical self and all the suffering that goes along with that. But then the other side of the aspect of sadhana is that it requires us to stretch and grow. So maybe it's a two-part question. What part of the sadhana or a sadhana or any part of a sadhana are you thinking about in terms of something that will help you apply your oxygen mask on a consistent and regular basis? But also, let's look at it in the last year. What is the part of the sadhana that stretched you the most? So if you want to take a minute to journal this out, because it'd be nice to just kind of chat about it. But if you already know, if you're like, I'm ready to go, we can talk about it. What's that?
I said, oh yeah, I do.
Yeah. You do what?
I know
You know. What
Yeah.
was the part that stretched you?
meditation.
Say why and how.
This specific meditation.
Yeah.
The one that we learned.
Yeah. It's a hard one.
Because for so long, I mean, I've been doing yoga for so long that, you know, the asana is asana. I can do that all the time and it's just like, whatever. Meditation, I was doing just, I had gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, I can sit and be still. Good for me. And then we started doing this one and it was like, okay, what red line? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean? My eyes go where? Where's my tongue? Like, it was just, and then having to just go through the thought, not being attached to the thoughts of like, tongue, up, move, bond, deep, you know, like all of that in line. And then wait, is it lights? And then this, and then, oh, I'm counting. I should be counting. Like, it really was one of those that I've had to take it very, very incrementally and keep circling back. It wasn't one of those where it's like, oh yeah, this is hard. Maybe next time I'll get it. It's like, no, I'm not going to get it next time. I might get a little bit further in the not as chaotic, but yeah, I mean, it's still a process.
So you learned in the stretch of it to adjust your expectations around it is what I'm hearing.
Well, and to just like give up the perfectionism that I tend to keep through most things.
And how does that serve you?
Oh, I mean, to be like a recovering people pleaser. How does that serve you? Well, I have much better boundaries than I used to. It doesn't feel good though. I mean, it feels very foreign and like the perfectionism to like give that up, it does feel very foreign and your brain will trick you into thinking like, well, then you're doing it wrong because it's not easy.
Yeah.
And then you get the imposter syndrome and you get, you know, and all of the layers and the inner critic and all
frustration and
yeah. And so being able to go back to like, I'm just not going to be attached to the outcome of this because I don't know that there will ever be like a full outcome of like, I did the whole meditation. Like there's not like a set time where it's like, you did it, you hit the jackpot. It's just like, you might get a little, you might get a lot some days. And yeah, so having to really work, I mean, that's just kind of been the theme for me this year in general is to give up the perfectionism and the people pleaseriness of like, yes, I did in fact do it very well in my life.
Yeah. Well, and when you've been doing that for your whole life, yeah, and in 9 months to like really feel like you've made some progress with it, like to me, it sounds like the meditation's been a successful thing.
Some days.
No, in the fact that it's changed you on that fundamental level, that it has been the tool that, and that's the whole point of this, you understand? It's not how successful you were at the technique. It's how the technique rubs up against who you are and the polish that it leaves behind it and how it changes you. And sometimes it takes these kinds of conversations 9 months into it, you to look back and be like, oh, that's what it did for me. All this while, I thought it was about the meditation, but the meditation was actually about me changing this fundamental aspect of myself.
Right. Or those things were already starting to change. And this is something that I was like, oh, well, my yoga practice is my yoga practice. I don't worry about my perfectionism there because that's like my thing. You know, I try and do all of this good. Whatever.
Who relates to this in your own way? Like whether it's people pleasing or not, but like in the, just a sense of like how the yoga practice this year specifically has shifted in a way that it's required you to engage with it in kind of a new relationship.
Yeah, mine was like, hey, you know, all that work you're doing in your personal life, you kind of need to do it here too.
Yeah.
And that was a big, like, I mean, I'm still running into that persistence of like, but I'm working so hard here. I want this to be like my safety zone. And my yoga mat's like, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. You're just like your whole ego right there.
Yeah. I really honor that.
I just said you have fantasy. Oh, I thought you said you need commencement. Sorry, I should have shut up.
Yeah, I think, no, that's really good. That's a good start. Who else with the sadhana? Yeah, Reba.
I just feel so, like, I just relate to that so much, because I've never identified as a perfectionist until I feel like this year I realized how many little ways I am. And this idea to get on the mat in general, just like I feel like I'll tell myself like, well, if I can't do the whole song, or if I like can't do this prep for meditation, then I don't want to do the meditation. And
Mhm.
it gets
Oh, yeah.
it gets into
I'm-
that loop. So I
yeah.
feel like part of the sadhana for me is simplifying everything and just like trying to like take away all these ideas that I have about what it means to have a good practice
Mhm.
and trying to strip it down until you get to like the actual getting on the mat
Mm.
and like sitting with all those things. Cause I just feel like I have been doing sadhana in so many different ways.
Mm.
It's just changed and adapt as like my life has been changing and adapting. And
Mhm.
it's been a big thing with meditation because I was like a meditation hater for the longest time. And this year was just so many things happened that I was like, oh, okay, I see why
Mm.
this thing needs to be in my life because I can't be present
Yeah.
most of the time, or like I will just get distracted by so many things. So that practice of like, oh, it's not gonna just give me like, it's not just gonna be like this miracle thing or like life changing in one go. It's like that consistency. So for me, the stretch was the meditation and was also this area that I've started to really enjoy. So yeah, it's
Oh, I
cool.
love hearing that.
Yeah.
I remember that moment in my own journey when meditation became something that crossed over from frustration and like, I know I should, like shooting myself with it, right? Like I should be meditating. I should like it. I should be good at it. And then it finally, I just kept like being stubborn enough with it. So then it got to a point where it was, you know, benefit was there. But in both of your shares, like it's really, I just appreciate the heart that you put into the work because, and all of you, I'm sure, are the same way. And we'll get around to sharing more. But you know, a lot of these practices, you have to recognize that like these practices are complex, dynamic, and for as simple as they are, they're difficult. And people who practice these spent years practicing them, decades, and they spent all day. So even if they weren't like, you know, they'd spend 2 hours in the morning doing it, and then like life on the ashram is pretty simple. You go farm, but like you're not talking about what you just read on the news. You're not talking about news from the city. Ashrams are in the forest, right? You're talking about how did the red line go today? You know what I mean? So like you're thinking about the next practice for the next 12 hours until you get to the next practice. Whereas like we don't have that luxury in our life. And the way that our super powerful brains are, you know, if you ever need a reminder of how powerful your brain is, remind yourself this, that your thoughts can get you to do whatever they want to do when we're not in control of our own mindfulness, right? So if our mind can control us, then our mind can control other things too. And you don't have the benefit of kind of anticipating and charging the seed of the next practice throughout the day because you have your life to go live off the mat. And so in that way, wherever you left the vibration in your last sadhana, that's where the vibration starts the next sadhana. You bounce right back to wherever you close that drawer or whatever, you know, metaphor you want to use. And sometimes when it is like a series of F this, F this, F this, you know, and it's just like now it's a drawer full of F's. You know what I mean? So it takes time to when it eventually gets to that critical mass of like, oh, something here is now starting to work for me. So good job sticking with it long enough, Reba. I'm glad you're here today too. Yeah, we missed you yesterday. Anybody else want to share? Yeah, Beck.
Yeah, I got kind of dug my heels in and I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't like it. I don't like the Nelly Kriya and I don't like the bread work. Okay, fine, I know that.
You're
But-
such a typical 300 student. Just like,
So bad. So it was that digging of the heels in, like, don't tell me what to do. You know what I mean? Like, I'll do the meditation on my own.
yeah, I get it.
So
I get it.
the Nelly Kriya doesn't feel good. And I like to eat when I get up, so then I did it. And so I had to look at why. I say to myself, like, I like to say I'm open-minded. I like to, try new things, all this stuff. But I'm like, why am I feeling this way? Like pushing against it, right? Like just because Austin says we have to do it. So anyway, I finally was doing it because I was gonna teach it this month and I was like, you gotta really start doing this. So I really started doing it and I can't say I had this, moment where I'm like, this is the most amazing thing. But there was a huge shift of saying, I hate it. I don't wanna do it. It doesn't matter, right? All of a sudden I was like, I don't hate it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I can see that. And maybe I'll keep doing it, right? Just to shift the direction of that. Cause man, you're right, for me, it's all up here. So whatever I tell myself is gonna affect the way I act, right? So when I'm telling myself this is, well, I'm not gonna do it, right? So I don't know, why don't we shift it first, the doing it, or probably the doing it.
Mood
Maybe.
generally follows action. If
Mhm.
you wait till you feel like
Yeah.
doing the sadhana, well, you had enough experience with the sadhana to know that it's hard and it takes a long time to where it gets really sweet. So your mood is going to be like, no, I remember that. It's like, oh, I don't want to do that. Mood follows action.
Right.
You just take the action, mood will eventually get into it with you.
Yeah. So.
Let's just review what kind of some of the reasons physiologically, neurologically, physically and spiritually, and even emotionally, I suppose, the different pieces of the sadhana, what do they affect? All right. So, and this isn't like a gotcha thing. This is just like, let's see what we remember and see what's like sticking and see what's resonant with us. So let's start with the meditation. This specific meditation, what is the purpose of Chakra Kundalini meditation?
Draw senses inward.
So that's one, yes. So pratyahara, draw the senses inward. I'm gonna turn you guys around here. Draw, oh, kitty, yes, kitty. Oh my God. If only that would help sadhana, by the way, if you just put a cat on your lap. So to draw the senses inward, pratyahara, yes, that's how it starts, right? We do all of the mudras and the bandhas to pull the five senses in, right? Jiva bandha. Jiva bandha, yes, it plugs in the sense of taste, but also there's like the actual like physical activation of awareness in the third ventricle, midbrain, at the soft palate when the tongue touches that part of the roof of the mouth. Shambhavi Mudra, we also know that like neurologically speaking, that when we take Shambhavi Mudra, it slows the brainwave state down, slows thought patterns down, because there are no active nerves inside the brain, right? So if I cut your brain open right now and I start touching it, well, yes, it's connected to the nervous system. So I could like find the part that makes you go like this or whatever, but you can't feel it. You can't feel me touching your brain. So we know that like this third eye meditation there's a lot of kind of Western empirical studies around when people focus on the third eye, it brings interoception to this point of the body that has no nerve sensory input. So what it does is it actually heightens awareness throughout the rest of the body and it slows the brain down. So it's kind of cool, like all these things that are like thousands of years old, and now we're just realizing it's like, oh, there's corroboration between what's happening neurologically and physiologically. I heard something recently about the nervous system that in yoga language I've really hung on to the last several years, this idea of like nervous system regulation. And that's language that comes more out of like psychology, right? To regulate the nervous system. Because we want to have some kind of control over our emotional well-being, and the nervous system can be the gateway to the emotional well-being sometimes. But from a physiological standpoint, there's a different languaging around finding balance and health in the nervous system, which is called organizing the nervous system. And I really love this language because, did I talk about this yesterday? Okay.
What about your class?
Okay. So organizing the nervous system, because the nervous system is the communicative highway between all these different aspects of ourselves: the mind, the body, the soul, the respiratory system, the circulatory system, the endocrine system, literally everything. Nothing gets through the gatekeeper of the nervous system. So when we talk about bringing it into a state of balance, harmony, and wellness, organization is a really good word. And in a way that's what the sadhana is meaning to do. And so true, it is preferential that our nervous system is organized before we begin the meditation because it's going to be more effective. But when you get enough kind of money in the bank with this meditation, you can also use the meditation to organize your nervous system. Does that make sense? So we go up and down the chakras, and part of the purpose of this, so if like somebody comes and attacks me, whether it's verbally or physically, I'm going to bring pranic consciousness into one of my lower 3 chakras as a defense mechanism, right? If I'm going to fight back, I'm going to go into the 3rd chakra. If I'm frozen, I'm going to go into the 2nd chakra. If I'm going to flee or like just give up, I'll go into the root chakra, right? But it's important to be able to create a conscious reaction with our energy centers, right? So we use the Chakra Kundalini meditation kind of like you would learn an instrument. You play the scales so that when all of a sudden a chord progression is placed before you, you know what notes to play where to kind of create a melody to corroborate with the chord progression. So think of in this metaphor, the chord progression is life happening to you. So sometimes it's minor chords and it's a ballad and it's about heartbreak, right? So you want to be able to play, you practice your scales, moving pranic consciousness through the chakras to appropriately respond to the minor chords, to the ballad, to the heartbreak. Sometimes it's just like power chords and it's like the Ramones and it's like punk rock. It's not. So you need to know what scales to play, what energy centers, where to place your consciousness. So that's really the first stage of the spiritual kind of purpose of this, is so that when you're off your mat in your life, it becomes a mindfulness facsimile where you get that email from Rhonda in HR and you're like, oh, no, you didn't, Rhonda, you know, but you know that actually going into my lower 3 chakras is not going to do anything productive. I mean, in fact, in many ways, you were saying yesterday, part of one of the things that you've gotten out of this training is how you just appear more personable to people. People start to come up and start talking to you. And I would argue that could be a byproduct of spending time with the meditation, to where you're bringing energy into the heart center, you're bringing energy up into these higher chakras. Being a Marine is all about emboldening and staying in these lower 3 chakras. Being a warrior is staying in the lower 3 chakras. Being a human being, we want to learn how to play the whole scale, right? Mm-hmm. And so now that you're doing that more, your energy field, you know, we take for granted how people read our energies, even as yoga teachers, right? We walk into a class and our students have already kind of agreed to the way in which, as a yoga teacher, we're transposing our nervous system onto the student's nervous system. That's why we get imposter syndrome a lot of times, because we go, ooh, my nervous system is not, one way to put it is organized, right? So like, I don't have any right to teach right now, because we know deep down on an unconscious level what that means. When our students are there going, man, I'm here because I want to feel better. Nobody ever goes to yoga because I'm here because I want to feel more anxious and worried, right? So obviously, if I'm feeling anxious and worried as a yoga teacher, there's a dissonance there. There's a cognitive disconnect there. So this is part and parcel of the ability to trust this. Like, okay, in this moment, right before class starts, I might be feeling very scared. I might be feeling very doubtful. I might be very plugged up in my lower 3 chakras. But you trust that you've been doing the practice off the mat, and you're going to provide and deliver the practice in a way where those blockages are going to flow again. You're going to be able to deliver for your students in a way that, even though you may start in a contracted place, you are going to try the practice of expanding, right? Moving towards an energetic, expansive place. The other thing about the meditation, so it's about getting familiar with the different energy centers, right? The different locations of psychic kind of regions. And a lot of us, like, maybe we haven't spent a lot of time in our heart chakra in our life. So it can feel new, or it can feel inaccessible, it can feel weird. So it can feel foreign to do it from this kind of dry place. Like, it's not an external So often we relate to our chakras through a response system of external stimulus. And this is purposely using pratyahara to derive control and be deliberate with placing prana in these energy centers of our own volition, to not be reliant on an external counter lever. So that's hard too, especially if you've never really put a lot of prana into some of these upper chakras. You've just never, you've always been a warrior, or you've always been a protector, or whatever it might be in your life, right? So just know that this road is long for this meditation. The purpose of working with the chakras in this way, this is kind of why we introduce you to the chakras and introduce the way in which you are with the chakras in the 200 hour, but like the 300 hour, you start to work with it. And it's a lifelong process from here on out, right? And then ultimately, you get to the point where you start to raise Kundalini and you start to purify these centers, and what I mean by purify them is they have less residual default influence on you. So the karma, the vasanas, the samskaras that we were talking about, the way in which when I feel threatened, I'm a fighter. My brother is a flighter. He's a much bigger dude than me. It's hilarious. We used to live together, and we'd go walk at night, and we'd hear something in the bushes, and I just hear a sneaker squeak, and I'm like, you gonna run off on me? Like, if we gotta face something, you're my brother. Like, where you at? And he's like, that's the way he is. And then like one time he was in my room, and I walked in, and he just come out behind the door. He goes, yeah. And I just go, "Rah!" like that was my instinct. I don't know what. He's like, who does that? What are you doing, you freaking weirdo? But those are responses of the way your samskaras and your chakras kind of relate to external circumstance. Over time, you do more of this. You react less, and you get more autonomy to respond in the way that you wish to, in the way that you want to. And it sounds silly because you're just like, how? But you're working with your nervous system. You're organizing your nervous system so that you're also organizing. Remember this like diagram that we drew once upon a time? It was this triangle, and we talked about how this is the unconscious mind, this is the conscious mind, and this is the state of the subconscious mind. Do you remember this? So, and this represents pretty much the territory of how much unconscious mind we have to conscious mind, right? Well, the nervous system can organize all three of those in a way that allows us to be in alignment with our sankalpa. And what happens with this meditation eventually is it inverts into what we call the superconscious mind. So once the unconscious, subconscious, and conscious mind are all in alignment with each other, which yoga calls them different things, calls it manas, ahamkara, chitta, and buddhi. Doesn't matter, it's fine. We have talked about that too. But once those three things are in alignment, we tap into the superconscious mind. We tap into Vijnanamaya Kosha. So that's why we do the meditation. Let's talk about pranayama. Let's go backwards. Why do we do the pranayamas that we do? Why do we do Kapalabhati? Especially in the head. So the Ujjayi in the asana burns off the kapha from the neck down, and the kapha / tamas left over in the head, in the thought patterns, Kapalabhati helps burn out. So have you ever had that like negative thought stuck in your brain, or something happens where you just keep repeating the loop, right? And you're like, oh, did I offend this person? Did I say it wrong? Did I like come across kindly enough, or whatever it was? And you just keep thinking about it, Kapalabhati is a really fantastic technique to get your head back on your shoulders, out of the past, out of the worry of the past. So it does it physiologically by stimulating cerebral spinal fluid circulation. And she's out of here. As long as she doesn't put her shoes on, I know she's coming back.
I'm not trying to hear that right now.
Pump cerebral spinal fluid. It also brings kind of a balance of the tapas through the lower chakras. I mean, what do you feel when you do Kapalabhati? Do you guys like Kapalabhati, or do you not like it?
Depends on the day.
Yeah,
At
depends
the
on
end
it.
of the day, it's calming after you're done.
It's super common. So what is the breath ratio? Do you remember the breath ratio for Kapalabhati? For what to one what?
Well, the exhale is one, the inhale.
Correct. So that's really something to remember, that the exhale is very short, sharp, and fast, and the inhale should be much longer, even though we're focusing on the exhale, right? So when we perform it well, meaning we're close to the 4-to-1 and it's consistent, and we want that consistency so it doesn't, by the way, we do it to a metronome because if it's not consistent, it will eventually stir up more vrittis and vata in the brain. When we establish a nice rhythm and do 4-to-1, physiologically, what happens to the blood? Does anybody remember this? Huh?
It gets more oxygen.
Yes, yes. So this breath work actually saturates the blood with oxygen. It over-oxygenates the blood. So what happens when we have a lot more oxygen in the body? So have you ever heard of like aerobic exercise?
No.
Well, aerobic exercise refers technically to when we are in a heart rate zone where we are burning oxygen for fuel. So oxygen is a great source of fuel for the body. So it's energizing us, right? It's clearing the mind. It's increasing cerebrospinal fluid. It's oxygenating the blood, and it's providing us energy. But clear energy, not like my caffeine, right? Not rajas, because we know we get energy from rajas. But what we're talking about here is getting energy from sattva. That's why we want to start pranayama from a pretty sattvic place to start with, right? So this prepares us for Kapalabhati. Oh, excuse me. Well, we do the cooling breath. I don't do the cooling breath. I do want to just put out a disclaimer. I don't eat animal products, and animal products create a lot of internal heat when they metabolize. So also seasons of the year. During winter, if you carry on with this specific part of the sadhana, you may find that the cooling breath is too powerful and you may not want to continue doing that, all right?
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
All right, obviously I haven't been able to do Nawali or Kapalabhati. Pregnancy though is a temporary state. So
Yeah.
I guess for someone who isn't in a temporary state, like hypertension or glaucoma, is there any practice that has a similar effect that is not contraindicated?
So yes, but it's like 3 or 4 things you have to do. That's why these practices are like, they're such, like if you look at any of the hatha yoga texts, they all are always pointing to the same ones because they tick so many boxes. But yeah, we'll get to some kind of proxy practices that can cross over some places for these. Yeah, good question. So then we do the cooling breaths. We won't spend a lot of time there today. Let's go right to Nadi Shuddhi, okay? So what is Nadi Shuddhi doing for us?
Yes.
So it's on a metaphysical or spiritual level, it's balancing the Ida and the Pingala. So the solar and lunar channels, which are known sometimes as like the battery poles of our spiritual body, right? So one of the things I'll say is like, I know that like, if I'm not doing pranayama, my sattvic energy isn't as good. Like I'm not as energetic in ways that are rich and deep. And that's a weird thing to kind of understand because you're just like, what does it mean? Isn't energy just, we think of energy as this bipolar kind of one-dimensional thing of like, either I'm tired or I'm energetic, but it's not like that. Why we do pranayama? So I had a buddy who was cleaning out his pond in his backyard and the hose got stuck on something and he was pulling on the hose. The hose came free and he goes, and he was pulling too hard. He fell back into the pond, the dry pond, on a rock, cracked his rib and punctured his lung. So all that to say is that is rajas. That is sometimes the misfortunate outcome of just purely rajasic energy because he's not aware of what the possible outcome could be because your subtle body is not supplely providing clarity around what you're doing while you're doing it in the present moment. Same thing happened to me when I broke my elbow. I did a triathlon. I trained for months for this triathlon, rode hard, crazy. It was like a mountain bike triathlon. So it wasn't like a road bike triathlon. We ran on a trail up a mountain, all these kind of things. 2 weeks after the triathlon, I'm out for an easy ride and I fall off my bike and break my elbow. And I know I broke my elbow because I was on my subtle body. I wasn't massaging, conditioning, supplying awareness, relationship, charge to my subtle body. I wasn't doing my pranayama. I know that might sound crazy to some of you, but I'm telling you, when I'm doing my pranayama, I will still make mistakes, but I don't fall over and crack my lip and puncture my lung the same way that, like, if I completely be like, I don't need that, I just do the coffee for the energy. You know what I'm saying? You gotta hit on this.
Well, I'm kind of that person that, I can relate to when I'm in a rushed like state, I'll do stuff carelessly. So just that image of like pulling, so like I've broken things because I'm like too careless to like, like pick it up and like see why it's getting stuck. I'll get like mad and be like, ah, and then and then it tears and then it's like that just is a relatable feeling. I've
Good.
had.
I'm glad. Because I do think it's an esoteric stretch, but it is, what we're doing in Nadi Shuddhi is we're bringing awareness, purification, suppleness to both sides, both halves of our energetic body. And so when we do that, not one is plugged up. So if I'm pulling on that hose and my Ida is plugged up, that means I'm all in the action trying to get it. And I'm not thinking about what else could be with it. Does that make sense? But when I'm massaging them both on a daily basis, I'm doing it's literally like flossing your subtle body, right? So if I'm not flossing my subtle body and then I go to speak, I'll probably have some bad breath. You know what I mean? All right. So Nadi Shuddhi, on the spiritual level, balances the Ida and the Pingala. On a physiological level, we know that it balances the brain hemispheres. So this prepares us by putting us into brain hemisphere synchronization. So generally speaking, we're more in one hemisphere or the other at basically a 90-minute kind of to 120-minute interval throughout the day. We're in a right brain for a little while. Now, some of us who are more dominant will spend that 120 minutes in the right brain perhaps, and then 70 minutes or whatever in the left brain. And we are becoming a culture that is generally, and by the way, there's a relationship between brain hemisphere synchronization and your nervous system regulation. We should be going simultaneously in and out of sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system at around the same ratio. But because of our society and the demands we put on ourselves and the caffeine that I put myself, my body's not allowed to have a balance, an equalized balance with that. So this is kind of a way of like putting money in the bank to make sure that like, okay, I may have a day where I'm going to have to be in production mode all day. So I'm going to specifically take time in my sadhana to really serve the other side. So one thing, some people do is in through the left, out through the right, in through the left, out through the right. This is called Chandra Vedana Pranayama. So you're not doing alternate, you're just going left. You're only bringing energy through the Ida, Pingala. So Chandra Vedana means Chandra moon, Vedana piercing the moon. Now, if you're prone to depression, don't do this one. This one can make you depressed. Also, towards darker winter months, you don't want to be doing this. There are other one, Surya Vedana, Surya meaning sun, piercing, is in through the right, out through the left, just over and over and over. Probably nobody in America needs this one because we're already so Pingala dominant. We're already so dominant with that. Now, once you get into, so we're doing 60 BPM, we're doing 1-to-1 ratio. Eventually that graduates to 1-to-2 ratio. Eventually that graduates to 1-to-2-to-2, and you start doing kumbhakas. And then it goes 1 to 4, and then, 1-4-2. And then eventually it can be 1-4-4. So meaning that if I'm like doing 8 seconds in, 8 seconds out, then it's eventually 8 seconds in, 16 seconds out. Then when I add the kumbhaka, I skipped a step here. You would do 1-1-1. Then you would go 1-1-2. Then you would go 1, 2, 2. Then eventually the final stage of this particular version of it is 1, 4, 2. This is 8 counts in. If you're doing 8 as your baseline, then you do 32 seconds of the hold and then 16 seconds here. You're all a couple years away from getting here if you ever decide to continue on track with your Nadi Shuddhi in a dedicated way. The reason I bring it up though is because how it relates to Kapalabhati. I'm oversaturating the blood with oxygen here. This holding the breath is doing what? If I hold the breath, what's happening to the oxygen in the blood? What's that? Yeah, you deplete the oxygen. And so the first couple minutes of a breath like this, as you convert all that saturated oxygen to carbon dioxide, you're fine. You don't feel it. You're like, oh, this is super easy. Then about 6, 7 minutes in, all of a sudden you start to come up against what's called CO2 resistance. And if you've ever experimented with any breath work and you have known what it feels like, I mean, it feels like you're dying, right? You're just like, you get itchy, you get agitated, your brain lights on fire. That's like 6 to 8 minutes in. 8 to the 15 minutes in, then your body finds an alkaline balance with oxygen and CO2 and the pH levels. And this 142 is when it's really doing the work of, so you have eventually now purified the Shuddhi, the nadis, but now this project, this 4 is knocking out the granthis. Have we talked about granthis at all? Probably not. Okay. So you have these chakras, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's the 7th one too. In between some of these, we have something called the granthis. Granthi means knot. So where you're at with your Chakra Kundalini meditation is you're just bringing consciousness up and down, learning to play the scale, learning to place it intentionally, deliberately, and of your own accord. Eventually, we're going to start getting deeper into the meditation to where we're also raising Kundalini, little bits at a time, until all of a sudden it starts to get darker and thicker, and that Kundalini starts to become more powerful. But these knots block it from getting there. How we dissolve the blocks is through Nadi Shuddhi, turning into Nadi Shodhana. So Nadi Shuddhi is the first stage. That's where you're all at. You're purifying the Nadi. Nadi Shodhana is purifying the Sushumna. So it knocks out the Brahma Granthi, the Vishnu Granthi at the heart, and then eventually we want to knock that one out. But actually this only knocks this first one out. Sorry. These are 2 different techniques.
I'm sorry, can you say it in a different way, the difference between Nadi Shuddhi and the difference between Nadi Shodhana?
Yeah. So Nadi Shuddhi is purifying the nadis specifically and only, and it's preparing you for Nadi Shodhana. Nadi Shodhana is meant to dissolve, well, this graduated version of Nadi Shodhana is meant to dissolve the Brahma Granthi. So that's all like, okay, fine, well and good. What the hell's a Brahma Granthi? So here's what I'll say, is if you have any addiction in your life, any addiction that is derived from the lower 3 chakras, it is the Brahma Granthi. It's hold on you. So I don't know if anybody's ever been in recovery in here, but I can tell you that one thing that people do when they stop doing whatever is harming them in terms of an addiction is it's very common that they just transfer the addiction to something else less harmful. And this is known as kind of recovery bypass, right? Like, so one of the deeper things that you can do in recovery is actually get emotionally sober so that you are no longer still in the same habitual pattern with your dopamine chain. And breaking through this first one is how to do that. And, you know, I mean, you could quit. That's why so often, like in AA meetings, it's like very common to be like, yeah, I quit drinking and quit stuff. And they're just chugging on the coffee and smoking the cigarettes, smoking the weed. And it's just like, you know, I don't point that out to say that that's a negative judgment. But what I'm saying is that like, it's actually a really great thing to have the opportunity to trade a lesser harmful addiction for a more harmful addiction. But wouldn't we all want to get over the addiction, the addictive personality, the addictive habits that we have? In yoga, this is where it comes down to. It's this lock, it's this knot energetically down in the lower chakras that keeps pulling us back to thinking, I'm not complete, I'm not whole, and I'm not enough. And I can tell you, and you can talk to a therapist till you're blue in the face and feel all the validation, all the affirmation, and that can help psychologically. But then you've got to deal with the emotional self, you've got to deal with the physical self, and you have to deal with the spiritual self. And I can tell you that this is what changed my life in a lot of ways. Not that I'm not still an addict. I mean, you should see my guitar pedal collection. It's stupid. Okay. So thanks for the question, Amber. And then asana, we've gone over and over about how it should be about using tapas in the body to create a mental side effect of sattva. And then Nawali Kriya, we've talked a lot about Agni and how slippery that is. I point this all out because as far as you've come in 9 months, there's still so much further to go with all these techniques if you want to. And it's, I use it for myself as kind of a carrot at the end of the stick to say, oh, this is why I need to keep going. And you've got to do it in a graduated way, and you've got to do it with a teacher from here on out. You just really can't, it's hard not to do it with a teacher. So all that to say, let's talk about a couple of therapeutic purposes of sadhana real quick, and then we're going to kind of put the nail in the coffin around our talk around sadhana forevermore. But I do want you to walk away with that question of like realizing what piece of the sadhana stretched you in a way that, like, even though it felt shitty, it was good for you, you know, kind of like eating your vegetables. So back to this original question of, if you can't do some of these because of contraindications, what are some other gentler ways? So this is definitely big kid spiritual pranayama. And in all the shastras, it always says like, this should always and only be prescribed to people who are of a certain wellness, physical and mental, because it's powerful and it can, if you're not mentally well, it can jack you up. But you're okay until you start to get into kumbhakas. When you start really doing deep, long breath holds, and I see a lot of people online just teaching this willy-nilly, but this is where like we can really disorganize our nervous system if we're not ready and we're not prepared for it. So that's why in the yoga world, we don't start there. Like Ice Man, Wim Hof, right? I love the guy, but I also think, you know, you see a lot of people having, nervous system issues from doing too intense pranayama too soon. So Krishnamacharya, who was, you know, definitely somebody in our lineage and somebody who was a great teacher, lived to 100 years old, really responsible for starting kind of the resurgence of yoga in the West. He would prescribe pranayama, certain types of pranayama, to people who were even too sick to do asana. So that's really encouraging. And this is the kind of pranayama he would prescribe, which is Brahmana. This is a really simple way to just start with things. Brahmana and Langana are ways to manage energy. So does anybody remember these terms? I think we maybe mentioned them once. Yeah?
Isn't Brahmana an elongated inhale and Langana an elongated exhale?
Yeah. So Brahmana is essentially elongated inhale. Langana is essentially an elongated exhale. And we always want to kind of keep things in this type of equation of a 1-to-2 ratio. So this is a really great way to do it. Now, you can also include this with Chandra or Surya Vedana. There we go. So you could do a really gentle, 8 and 4 count through the, Ida channel. So Langana would go with this. You wouldn't mix and match, right? And Brahmana would go with this. Yeah. And I think that's, we could go into like Pratiloma and Viloma and all these kinds of things, the stair-step breath and all these kinds of things. But this is just a really great way to just think basically like you can build prescriptive sadhana for yourself on any given day according to your energy, even if you don't have a lot of time to get all the way into like a really robust pranayama. Just say, Okay, I'm feeling imposter syndrome heading to teach this class. I don't have time to do a full sadhana to get myself organized. So what I ask myself is, where am I at? What is this anxiety coming from? What is this worry coming from? If it's coming from a place of rajas, well, I need to calm myself down. So I'm going to do Langana. By the way, pairing it with Chandra Bedna makes it twice as powerful. That might be too much for you. You still want to have some level of, if you quash your anxiety entirely before a class too well, you won't have energy to teach the class. So what I would say is,
What is Chandra again?
Chandra is in through the left, out through the right. So it's just bringing energy through the Ida Pingala, which makes you intuitive, makes you introverted. You're not ready to perform. You're not ready to be in front of people, right? But you wouldn't do Langana with Surya Bedna in any kind of therapeutic sense. You'd only do that for spiritual purposes. So just keep that kind of in your back pocket as like a really easy, quick way to like shift energy. Remember what the Hatha Yoga Pradipika says. The mind goes where energy goes where the mind goes. So they have a very sibling type of relationship. If you give energy and attention to your subtle field, the mind will go there. If your mind is anxious and you keep thinking about the thing that's anxious, your energy will get anxious.
So if you wanted to say you were in a really low state,
Mm-hmm.
then you would want to use Brahmana, maybe with Surya.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely if you're feeling depressed. So these are really simple ways to start to work with yogic breath patterns and techniques. And there's obviously more, but I think that these can also build into Kapalabhati. Yeah, can you take a couple quick, like, Chandra, there is this, just through the left, right? Just through the right. So experiment, have fun. I would also say that, like, in terms of bringing sadhana elements into teaching techniques, thinking about how Nalali Kriya affects Agni, right? How it shifts Pitta to Agni. Well, maybe you don't want to teach Nalali Kriya in a class, but how can we get a similar effect of a tourniqueting constrictive bandha in the Uddiyana bandha? Twists, right? Holding exhales. So that's something we haven't even talked about it really in 300 hour at all, is Kumbhaka. So Kumbhaka is the breath retention.
How are the holding exhales different than holding the inhales?
I was just going to say, yeah. So Baya Kumbhaka versus Antar Kumbhaka. And you don't need to remember the terms. Holding the breath in, well, first off, an inhale is energizing, just in general. So if I need energy, so yes, focusing on it in time helps, but also just focusing on bringing energy into the inhale. If I bring energy into the exhale, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to make myself tired. It actually is clarifying the mind. So it's a similar effect when we hold the breath in. It's like a 10x magnifier of those things. So if I breathe in, hold the breath in, I'm charging the body to get physical energy from that, right? If I go, I can feel energy coming into my brain. So I'm energizing my cognition, right? So you don't want to do that if you're Vata. You want to do that if you're Sattva. And you want to only do Kumbhaka in a class under 10 seconds, right? So less than 10 seconds. Anything over 10 seconds requires bandha work. So just now that I say all this stuff, because like, if you start to play with it, I just want you to be responsible yoga teachers with it, because our number one job as yoga teachers is to help our students organize their nervous system. And this, on one hand, is the most powerful way to do it. Breath work is bar none the most powerful way to get people's unconscious, subconscious, and conscious mind organized. But it's also, done irresponsibly, the fastest way to make a mess of things. Yeah, so let's take a little break and we'll come back and we're gonna talk about program review stuff and then we're gonna get into final questions, okay?
I have a question.
Yeah,
That book, Pranayama, the one you guys suggested we purchase. at the
yeah,
Beginning, does that have all this in it?
that has most of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
'Cause-
it'll have all the stuff on the Granthis. It'll have stuff on the Surya Vedana, Langana, Brahmana, Chandrabadana.
Cause I wanna start integrating more, like I love Nadi Shuddhi.
Mm.
And I wanna give up my caffeine addiction and replace it with pranayama.
Perfect. I love that. That's a great goal.
So
Yeah, and that's a totally appropriate goal.
Cause like I do a lot of food work, like I take about anywhere from 600 to 800 milligrams of caffeine a day.
You're like, yes, I'm
So,
on fire.
and I can literally still sleep at night. So I wanna replace that with breaking through that
Mm.
grata and
Brahma Granthi.
yeah.
So, yeah, well, I would say that you could start with the book. How dedicated have you been with Nadi Shuddhi?
At least 3 times a week.
Okay, I would say, start doing it every day.
Okay.
Really, if you want to make faster progress, it's not about adding more techniques, it's about doing it more frequently through the day. So I would say, you could start doing it morning and night if you wanted to. And progressing would be, first of all, establishing a baseline of what your lung capacity is at 60 BPM, what your ratio is.
Okay.
So like for me, it's 16. So I can comfortably hold 16 breaths in, 16 seconds in for an inhale, 16 seconds for an exhale. So I'm
Okay.
breathing for 16 seconds. And if you can do that for 15 minutes, you found your baseline.
Okay.
If I go to 17, all of a sudden around 8-minute mark, I'm kind of puffing and like getting agitated. So comfortably finding your baseline, and then you're going to have that eventually. So you want to find your baseline first,
Okay.
right? At 60 BPM. Then you want to have it and do 1 to 2, which will be really boring. So that means if it's 16, it's 8 here, 16 here. You're going to do that for anywhere from 3 to 6 months
Okay.
for 15 minutes. Then you will graduate to a 1-1-1 ratio. And this is an important critical step because when you hold the breath in, this kumbhaka, so that means you're doing 8, 8, 8,
Okay.
right? But this kumbhaka needs to have all 3 bandhas. Or excuse me, no. It's all about the 2 bandhas, Jalandhara bandha and Mula bandha, right?
Okay.
You do that for 3 to 9 months. Then you can graduate to 1, 2, then you can graduate to 1, 2, 2, and then in another 1.5 to 2 years, 1, 4, 2. So it would be 8, 32, 16. And you've gone too far, you've gone too fast down this. If you can't do this comfortably for 15 minutes.
So the goal is to get here for 15 minutes, at least once a day to twice a day
Yep,
for 3 to 6 months.
yep,
That's what I'm gonna focus on now. Then.
yep, good.
Cool. Cause
Yeah.
I started actually, even though class was like, no, you can't do pranayama. I do breath of joy at the beginning because I teach the 6 a.m. class.
They tell you can't do pranayama?
Yeah. Like they don't want you to use Sanskrit. They don't want you to do pranayama.
So they're
They're very like, this is a 60-minute exercise class, nothing else. I still use Sanskrit. I
Good
still
for you.
talk about Ujjayi breath. No,
Don't let them.
You see, but this best is such a, this best is such, it's such shit, but it's still, it's gone for this. What all the stuff this soul has gone through in the lifetime people, and the like, right, so it's really not about that. I wrote it a couple weeks back, it's like, I keep for myself that I'm like. Right, I am, but I can't get, I can't.
Yeah, I feel like
Well,
it's such a big realization.
You know what I
I
like
like
to do sometimes,
even though you
like
might
my
not
friend,
take
he's
it
he went to
like
yourself
yourself
over and over,
especially
especially
in this crazy world that we're in right now. So it's really
wanted
easy
to
to
get
be
more
like,
training and do more things.
you know, and like
And she
not
has
bring
all
yourself
that.
back to the practice.
Went
No,
and they got
I-
their basic stuff and then immediately opened
for
a
others, but
business,
I also
started
have to, like,
making money
figure out
and
for
did the
myself.
business. And I think.
And
Like,
I just think that it's harder instead of shooting, but it's something that we've all been.
And there are people out there who are going
It's
to
training
that
for your
are
practice, your community.
I mean, I'm not saying that she's not, but like, you can also that you are a good teammate, that's very freaking first. But you did a great job, and mine's perfect, and the mine's really. So like, there's some dude out there who's like, gotten an online certificate, who's going out and club, it's like. But not only that, as a teacher, not only that, it's literally like, as a teacher, as a mom, what are your goals? What? How do you want to show up? Like,
No.
or as genuine and real and connected to everyone. So in order to do that, we kind of have to get out of here. And go and live. Of good.
And it's like on your
And you know, it's not, not. And honestly, not. Oh, I did it better. You did, like, you did, how did you do that? I had no idea where the brain. We talked about progress.
Whatever, like,
You know, and those are good. And the energy. And the energy. And all.
Don't forget.
Okay, we've got a lot still to do. So since everybody's in the room, I'm gonna ask you if we can get back to work. This part should be pretty easy and fun. This is just the program overview. So I just want to list everything. Does anybody want to be my scribe? Does anybody want to write?
I can write.
Yeah,
I'm good at writing.
Good.
Is it a lot?
yeah,
Okay, I got you.
yeah,
So I should write small.
Yeah.
Not too small.
yeah. You could write, yeah. Maybe like, you're probably gonna have to have 2 or 3 rows.
Got it.
Jesus. What would it be pregnant? I mean, she's gonna have to pee all day. It's fine. Seriously. So what have we learned in this program? Here we go. What are some big yoga concepts that are going to be things that you can carry forward into your teaching, your personal practice, and your life as a yogi moving forward? So I'll start with 1. Tapas. You can do hard things, right? That's what tapas teaches us. What else? Yeah.
So, chance, this was gonna be my thing that really stressed me. The Maya, and then like, the weekend with Shanti.
Okay, one thing at a time, 'cause I want to write them all down. So the mantras,
Yeah,
can we put mantras instead?
sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Same thing. I just like, it's a Sanskrit word, so I like to use it whenever I can. So mantras, you said
Like, so.
Maya,
Yeah, like the.
the concept of Maya,
The,
Dharma?
no, the first,
The
sorry,
actual
that-
name of the channel?
The chant from the sun.
Oh, the Mrityunjaya.
Yeah.
Mantra. Okay, gotcha.
Someone.
But I'm still gonna put the concept of Maya here. Do we all know what Maya is? Did we learn what Maya is? Kinda? It's like, huh?
Grand.
Great.
No.
Maya, isn't it?
Oh, Maya, I'm thinking Maha.
Maha is great, yes. Maya is,
Isn't it like the world stuff?
it's like the illusion of the physical realm being the only realm. Like, it doesn't mean that the physical realm isn't real. It means thinking the physical realm is all there is illusion. We get the modern word magic from Maya. Yes, and then also I said it, but you brought it up for me, was Dharma. We all have the idea of Dharma and Spadharma, right? This is something that 300 Hour gave us from our first reading of the Bhagavad Gita, right? And then you had a third thing.
So it called on mantras. This is actually, I think I'm saying this word, but the Laya mantra.
The Laya mantra. Yeah.
I love that one. I even went home and looked it up, and I found like a decent like YouTube video that.
So let's just say Laya mantra. Let's put Gayatri mantra, and let's put the we'll just call it Triambakam, Gayatri. And it doesn't matter if you spell it right. It's okay. Yeah, and that's fine. Laya. Put in try. Just put try mantra. There you go. What else, gang?
Values.
The Vayus. How are the Vayus going to help your practice and your teaching, right? You think it'll help more your practice, life, or teaching moving forward?
I can't have one without the other.
Good answer. I think the Vayus really help my teaching a lot. It's a fun way to, like, when I get bored with cueing, like to be like, ooh, let's like, because how many times have you taught Warrior 2, right? And then Vayus can make it fresh again, you know? What else? Yeah, the koshas. Let's just put the koshas. But thank you for saying the whole thing. I really
Well,
appreciate that.
That's just how it's written in my head.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah.
And we've got the word Maya in there, right? By the way, kosha meaning sheath, Maya meaning the, you know, the field of, or magic or illusion of, and then pancha is 5. What else? The Gita. The Gita. Okay, we could put the sutras. I want to hear from everybody. The Gunas. Oh, the Goonies? The 3 Goonies? Larry, Curly, and Mo? The Goonies? So let's put Sankhya philosophy. Anna, you leaving? What's going on? You gotta go. Okay. Let us know if you need anything.
I think we should give her a second.
Yeah.
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 Text her.
Yeah.
Did
Well,
we know what happened?
No, I can tell you, every time she has to say goodbye, she leaves early.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't do goodbye.
That was my guess that she just. freaking out
Oh, okay.
About this whole thing.
I see.
And we're kind of wrapping it up.
Well, I just hope it didn't. That's too bad, because I really wish you could be here for this, but because the next part's gonna be super awesome. Huh? Maybe she'll come back. Just tell her, say, if you text her, say you're welcome to come back, Austin says, anytime. Because that, I mean, it was slightly dramatic, but it wasn't that disruptive. Let's get back to work. Sorry, y'all. I hope we didn't do anything to offend
I
her.
don't think.
Okay.
No.
Okay, what else? Did you learn? You learned a style of yoga, how to teach a specific style of yoga. It starts with an R.
Restorative.
It ends with a restorative. Yes.
Yoga Nidra.
Restorative. And yoga nidra.
And Kundalini yoga.
And you learned some Kundalini Kriyas. Yes. Uh-huh. Huh?
You're like, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So much stuff.
I mean, I've got the full list. We're nowhere near.
Yeah, we learned, it was 300 hours.
Yeah. So
it was a lot.
So we could just put pranayama, like spiritual pranayama. We could put but we could just put Kapalabhati. Just, yeah. And Nauli, Nadi Shuddhi. We could put the CKM, Chakra Kundalini meditation, right?
What was the meditation that Amber taught us?
Oh, the Kriya.
Kirtan Kriya.
Kirtan Kriya.
Kirtan Kriya. Yes,
that
good. This is what I like. So some other techniques. What are some other things? Remember this one?
per breath, the up and down.
Yes, 3-part breath, up and down wave. By the way, I meant to mention that with the long and then the Brahmana. So, right, when we do double up wave, it brings the apana up. It brings the apana vayu up. So it's energizing. That's why we do it, even though the 1-to-2 ratio in Nadi Shuddhi is calming of the mind. The double up keeps the body activated so we don't fall asleep in pranayama. Double up, 3-part, cooling breaths too.
We only did this one once briefly, but what's the one where you like?
The breath and.
Brahmari, yeah, or bee's breath,
What's that mudra?
Shankari mudra,
Well, we learned a bunch of mudras.
Shankar mudra.
Bandhas, mudras.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Jiva Bandha, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha, Shambhavi Mudra, Yana Mudra, Dhyana Mudra. So just put bandhas and mudras. There's so many.
Client work.
Working with private clients.
Hello, yeah.
Hello?
It is backing up, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, we learned a little bit about the Hatha Yoga Pradipika,
Yes.
right? Which is the book that's like weirdly the closest thing to what we do. You know, the sutras are and the Gita are like thousands of years away from our life. So yeah, yoga for physical well-being in a therapeutic sense, right? So just, and then yoga for emotional well-being in a therapeutic sense.
Workshops.
Yeah, how to build a workshop, specialized education. We also kind of learned the matrix of the subtle body, right? How the koshas, gunas, doshas, vayus, and chakras are all a conglomerate of this immaterial aspect of ourself. Okay.
We learned how to teach beginner.
Teach beginners, intermediate, advanced. We learned how to sequence for the subtle body. Remember that? Using elemental cues for directive and using psycho-emotional cues for the operative and using physical locations of the bodies to tap into the integrative aspect of the chakras and how chakras and vayus can be taught complementary or contrastingly. Yeah?
The joint freeing series.
Boom! I was waiting for that one. Yes!
What'd she say?
Joint freeing series.
We had practice giving feedback.
Big one. That is a big deal. And receiving feedback, by the way.
You filling out those damn. Feedback forms are the death of me.
What did you do this morning? You learned more about Sanskrit. Sanskrit was a big part of it. Hopefully we got better at Sanskrit, right? Sanskrit. We learned about, well, I just want to say the word karma, kleshas,
Oh, yeah.
kriyas,
Samskara.
samskaras, like these big concepts from these philosophies that are like going to be fundamental to probably the way that you interact. You know, that's why we spend so much time on the sutras, because it is such a treasure trove of yogic concepts that we can practice off the mat all the time. The 4 locks and keys. We didn't talk about that yesterday, but I did say it's in the top 5 of most important sutras, right? Locks and keys are, remember, by the way, really probably important with all the political craziness going on right now. If somebody's happy, if somebody's happy and it's locking us up, it doesn't always lock us up, but if somebody's happiness is locking, and we're just like, we treat them with friendliness, right? If somebody's unhappy, compassion, yes, or karuna, if you want the Sanskrit word, which is a really fun one. I love that word, karuna. If somebody is delightful and that's locking us up, sorry, virtuous. Sorry, I spoiled that one. I gave the punchline. And then the other one is unvirtuous. That's upeksha. It's close. It's more like dispassion, equanimity. Yeah, neutrality, you know. Obviously, if somebody's kicking a dog, that's non-virtuous. You're not going to neutrality is not going to be not stopping the person kicking the dog, right? But you don't stop the person kicking the dog and then kick them back and like be judge, jury, and executioner in the moment, right? Like you return things to a place of ahimsa as soon as possible and do so with a neutral spirit and intention. Did we write Sankalpa on this dang thing?
Yeah.
No, what can we? So sequencing in general, what about all the advanced teaching techniques that we covered from alignment, Cambio alignment methodology to our cueing methodology of directive, operative, integrative, foundational postures, traditional postures, sequencing, adjustments, subtle body sequencing and theming.
Yup.
I mean, those of you who are like, I'm overwhelmed by this program, it's like, no wonder. This is the full Big Mac meal, right? This is the king. What else did you learn from Shanti Shanti?
We learned the 10 bodies.
The
10 bodies. Did she talk about prana versus push? Amber, what did you say? Oh, okay. I thought you had one. Say again?
I was telling my cat, don't jump up on my lap.
Not now, kitty.
Vitality?
Vitality.
I
Yeah.
remember
Oh,
that was
vitality, yes.
You know, and that word Kriya, do we put Kriya up here? So, and you've missed a lot of words I've said, which is okay. But I just want to say that.
Well, we have currents on Kriya.
But put Kriya again and then put ×3 because we learned Kriya as far as cleansing techniques like Nauli and Kapalabhati. We also learned Kriya in the context of a spiritual practice that Patanjali outlined as tapas, svadhyaya, ishvari pranadhana. We also learned Kriyas as far as Maria said earlier, the Kundalini. So Kriya is a big one. Anything else to add to our list?
About each other.
That's what I was gonna say, Sangha.
Yeah, I was.
So the biggest thing that we honestly we could erase this whole thing and just write SANGHA. Yeah, Sangha's huge. What about this is a word from yesterday? Parinama. This was in one of the sutras. Parinama meaning pari, great, name, nama, and when we put it together, it means change. What about your own transformation? What about your own change in this? Did you learn something about yourself here? I hope so, because that's only you can do that. Okay. So with all that said, thank you. That's a great list for now. Self-study. Yeah, I mean, we could really go back to the sutras and be like, there's a whole lot more there too, right? Like Vairagya, how to let go. Remember yesterday? It's not just about like knowing that letting go is part of our spiritual practice, but like how to let go. First thing first, withdraw the senses, right? Prakriti Purusha. We could talk about Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. We could talk about the yamas and niyamas. Did we learn more about the yamas and niyamas? Because I would say that out of all of my learnings, nothing changed my life as much as learning the yamas and niyamas. And thank God I learned it right away. Like I learned that early in my 200, and I just remember going home that night just being like, boom, like, I mean, mic drop. And to this day, like of all the cool, like the koshas were cool to learn about. You know, I love the kosha, I love the vayus, but like the yamas and niyamas are still changing my life in such fundamental ways. Because it's not like a target you hit and you're just like, done, got ahimsa, don't need to worry about it anymore. It's like you're in relationship with these things once you're aware of them in your life, that you continue to practice them. Okay. So if we divide this by $3,000, each one of these is worth, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, so now we're going to get into a journal. This is where get a journal out. I'm going to give you some questions. There's going to be 4 questions, and we're going to just answer the questions all at one time. Well, we're going to do the answer. Then we're going to break up into, I'll tell you what we're going to do after that, but we'll do some sharing after that. But I think this is important to have in mind as you get into these questions, okay? So this is this part of it, we're entering a new workshop. I call this program reflection, okay? So this is our final check-in many ways. Our final real kind of, like when we share and check in, this is like the big one. This is how we do it on a soul level. So this first question is about gratitude. What about your experience at 300 hour are you most grateful for? And you can write 1 to 5 sentences about that. Okay. Next one, for those of you ready and don't feel like you have to rush, we can kind of bleed this into a little bit of a break. So if you need to take more time on writing, wherever you're at. Next one is all about insight. So what is the insight that you've received and will carry forward an inspiration or insight that you received? What is a revelation that you've had in the 300 hour about yourself, about your life, about your practice, about your teaching, or all three? That seems to be rising to the top. Next one, if you're ready, is about freedom. What about this program has given you a greater sense of freedom? And especially this idea of like self-autonomy and conscious co-creation of your destiny. Or what have you learned from this program that you are committing to gain a sense of greater freedom if you haven't achieved it yet? And that's perfectly fine too. Because by the way, just because the program's ending doesn't mean all this stuff, this stuff ain't ending, right? So the tools are still there for you to use. This is a great opportunity to think about, oh, what have I not gotten out of this that I really want to hold myself accountable to? Okay. And last but not least, and by the way, some of these questions might have a lot of overlap, and that's perfectly fine, okay? They're meant to just kind of like triangulate maybe a singular answer for you, or not. There's no wrong way to do this, except if it's not honest. That's the only wrong way to do it, is if you're lying to yourself. Okay. T, so transformation and transcendence. In what ways have you been transformed by this program, or in what ways do you still need to transcend? Or have you transcended? So these answers are broad brushstrokes. We're going to be doing a thing over the course of the next month. Your only real homework, other than getting ready for your workshop, is going to be a thing called Letter to Your Future Self. So in the Letter to Your Future Self, more detailed description will probably be arisen out of some of these same kind of thoughts and ideas. So just know that like it doesn't have to be exhaustive now of like how you answer these. This is more to just kind of get us sharing and kind of see who we are, how we are, and where we are. The Letter to Your Future Self is the 6 questions that go with that are similar, but they're much more detailed. And so just know that you'll have more time to get into the thick of it if you want to, with some of the stuff that you may not have time right now to. So, but what I want to do now is we're going to break up into 3 groups. So we'll do you 3 here, and then Maria, Eden, Lacey, and then you 2 with you, these 2 online. Take a look at your list here that you've answered. So we talked about gratitude, insight, freedom, and transformation, right? So if you look at the letters, yeah. But now you're going to give that gift back by sharing. And so you're going to circle the one that matters the most to you. Circle the one that has been the most profound, or maybe revealing or surprising or powerful for you. And we're just going to talk about this a little bit in small groups to share. And then we'll come back, and not everybody has to share, but we'll come back and see kind of what comes out of the conversation. So what I want you to do is allow this conversation to be something that puts you out of the safety of kind of your own like little butt. This is like one more opportunity to lean into the safety net of the Sangha, to really allow yourself to be honest once again in this space of yoga, like really practice some ahimsa, satya, and back to that thing yesterday of like that question, which was, if you were to ask yourself in times of uncertainty what somebody who loves you unconditionally would wish for you, how they would treat you, I want you to be that person for yourself in this. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's take a few minutes to share.
Oh, hey, cuties.
Hey, sweaties.
Alright,
Consider what somebody who unconditionally loves
who wants to go first?
you.
Do you want to go?
Sure.
Okay.
I said, insight. And mine was like karma. Just honestly, I think this year was a lot about me being honest with myself, and just realizing that I can't be dishonest with myself, like, and not affect my life. So I think that was just like the constant thread of just everything, like getting sober, like being in the program, just everything just felt like it's about alignment. And yeah.
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm.
stand out to me a lot, but I think.
Good for
I
you
just
guys. Nothing for everyone today.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of that because yeah, this was meant to.
I was still at 200-hour, I started 300-hour, and I was really.
Oh,
intimidated
you might have been muted somehow.
because, like, most of you guys are like,
Okay,
There you,
just,
we hear you
just
again.
quiet.
Oh,
There it goes. Now you get it.
interesting. I didn't change anything. But I'm thankful for the structure that this training provided because it gave space for me to kind of duck off and study and
But I feel now like I can.
piece now that when you're building a family or like if you're focusing on your job or just constantly trying to fill outside cups, it's easy to neglect your cup and life just moves fast when you're
Like whining and then just.
Sure.
And just
Yeah.
really want to spread this love and happen.
Yeah,
A little
but
bit.
she's not doing anything on her end. It's just going in and out.
Oh, boo.
Amber. Amber, can you hear me okay?
You guys are coming through clear and my mic is showing that it's
So here's a suggestion. Just while you share, just while you talk, if you will turn your video off, it will then put more CPU towards making sure that the audio doesn't break up. But turn your video back on after you're done sharing. Sorry about that. Let's try if that works.
is my sound coming across clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what a cool party
I did
trick.
not know that.
We did catch most of what you
CPUs.
said.
I mean, it wasn't very juicy. It was just a contribution.
Add turn off video to make audio sound better on the board of things we've learned.
Oh, yeah. That was the best one.
Put it on the board.
Yeah, but that's okay. And cut.
Ashlyn, do you want to go?
Maybe try the same
Uh,
thing.
Can you hear me okay, or should I turn off my video?
I turned the video.
Yeah.
Turn it off. Why not?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, okay, I had this, I've been teaching.
I was really grateful for like, especially like Kundalini yoga. It was such like a profound experience for me, just because I've had like the worst burnout this year. I have had no interest in any of my hobbies, including yoga, which makes doing 300-hour training so hard because I'm like, why did I choose to do this?
Yeah.
And even though deep down I know why I chose to do it, I know I love yoga. But like just that experience and getting exposed to like different types of yoga, because in the West there is kind of just like the one. It's like, isn't it hatha that we practice in the West?
I think so.
But like getting to experience different kinds of yoga and getting to learn how they all work and stuff, I'm just so grateful for it.
Yeah. Thanks, Ashlyn. Embarrassing story. I actually had to make like snap cups when I was in like 8th grade. You know what a snap cup is from Legally Blonde? Amber knows from Legally Blonde, you know, snap cup.
I need to rewatch.
I do. I know what you're talking about.
I've seen that movie. I know.
It's maybe it was in the first or second, I don't know, but like, you know, it's a way to give affirmation to people. He puts something in the cup, snaps for John, you know? Anyways, okay. I don't know which one I want to share. I would say what's given me the greater sense of freedom is that through these practices, I have a lot more discernment in my life, and it's still something that is far from where I want it to be. But I think before this training and before the structure of the sadhana, I really just struggled to know like my inner compass, and I struggle with a lot of decision making and just constantly second guessing, and I just feel a lot more discerning. And I feel like it's just the sadhana practices that really have helped with that. So that's what's given me the most freedom in this, I would say.
Yeah, we did it. Good cheers. I feel the burnout sense, Ashlyn, but I was really grateful to get to do my internship with you because I feel like we were in the same boat with so many things, just like teaching wise and then also life wise. So that's something that I was really happy that we got to do together because I feel like we created a bigger friendship that way. And yeah, that's something I feel like it's gonna be like a few months. We're gonna have time to process and decompress it for everything and it'll be easier to see like you know, all the benefits and all the things that have been good, you know, good.
Good idea.
But I understand the burnout.
Very that. I also think it's because like something about September really just throws everything out the window.
It-
Like for some reason, every year in September, chaos reigns. So
Yeah.
I feel like in a few months when everything's like,
Yeah.
when you hit that rest and digest portion of the year, like fall, end of fall, early winter, when you just get to like finally sit, it's gonna feel so good.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I've been so busy because of like so many new things that I was telling people it's like it's not burnout in terms of like I don't enjoy yoga, but when you don't have any time, you get burned out with everything because everything is like becoming, you know, like you don't have the restorative aspect. So
What else are you getting into, Reba? I'm curious.
what else? What?
What else are you getting into? What new activities? I feel like you already have some activities.
I went to it. Well, I've been getting more into capoeira. Like every time I went to Atlanta and I had this like insane week of capoeira and like that like made and I met like some of these like in capoeira they're like huge people like they're like super involved and so that's been like such a big area of like growth for me. And also I have a new job and I broke up with my boyfriend. I like am living alone. I have to take care of all the things on my own now and then like so everything's just
a
lot. It's just a little change, it's just a
Only
little
like 9 of the top.
and I haven't had a day off in about 5 weeks. Like not a real like whole day with nothing to do. So I think everything is just exhausting. But it was so in like all these good ways, like I'm doing things I love. It's just that I'm like, okay, I need to do my laundry, guys.
You could just drop it off like me.
I could.
Couple $100
I might
later.
I really don't have I've been wearing like the same things for over and over and over again because I just don't have the time and capacity to like pick out new things. So yeah.
Are we ready to circle back up?
Yeah,
I think we're gonna get
we're just chit chatting.
together, yeah.
Bye.
So I'm gonna take friends from the digital realm. Hello, hello. Thank you, thank you. Who's that now? Is that Peg? Where's she going? Oh, okay. So, can you share with the group what came up for you, or was there anything in the sharing of that brought more out of this exercise for you? Or I just love to hear what's hitting in terms of meaning for you. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of already shared a little bit. But mine was the freedom aspect, and I think it's just like the freedom and understanding, and this is something I continue to work through, but has come up a lot in this training of understanding that so long as I show up with some sort of enthusiasm, that's good enough.
Mhm.
And as a teacher, and especially as a teacher here and like being friends with you and Laura and all, you know, all the people and wanting to impress and be, you know, like, okay, yeah, you teach for us. Like, yeah, well, like we see you. And it's like, I don't need to do all of that. Like I was really putting a lot of pressure on myself to like, I need to make sure that I know all of this before this starts so that I look like I know what I'm doing because I want to know what I'm doing. And
Mhm.
as it has come more into fruition or things of, you know, whatever, letting go of that and just being able to show up and with this year being just as hard as it has been, being able to show up and be like, but what I got.
Yeah.
And everybody just, you know, and you guys are always like that anyways. It was more something I put on myself of like, I want to be impressive. I want to make sure that I'm like pushing myself to a point where I am impressed with myself and impressed with my
Mhm.
knowledge and my practice. And maybe I can stretch a little bit further if that's gonna look, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. I've been able to let that go a lot more. And like with teaching, when it became something that was not bringing me joy and was just stressing that like perfectionist, I was able to, you know, step back and like, okay, I'm gonna sub when I can, and having that like assurance in myself of that's okay.
Yeah.
And continuing to show up and having even just like a little bit of enthusiasm about it, like
It's enough.
it's enough.
Yeah.
And in saying that, that makes the belief system slowly start to believe that I can be enough just as a human being.
Ah,
and
that's
who
good.
I am. And I'm not all the way there yet, but
Yeah.
it's been a big,
Well, nobody knows what they're doing.
yeah.
So you're right there. You never will.
Yeah.
We don't. I don't. Thank you for starting that off. I really appreciate that. I feel like a lot of us can resonate with a lot of what you said. What are some other themes that came up for you in this exercise? Yeah, Reba. I heard some stuff on this. I'm wondering if you're going to touch on it. Like you guys were the closest to me, so I could eavesdrop a little.
I feel like for me, in terms of, because I went from kind of did 200-hour and just 300-hour, and so it's felt like a year of just like being inundated with yoga ideas.
Yeah.
And for me, how it manifested in my actual life became like, it's not so much that I just like embodied all these things and like it got really good at everything, but like for me, it was Satya, like truthfulness, because I think it's really easy to get in your head about what you should do and what other people are perceiving.
Mhm.
But when you're not honest with yourself about things, it's easy to like go on like that for a while and just be like,
Oh.
well, if no one else
You
knows.
could do it your whole life. Trust me.
Yeah, it's
I know
gonna be
people.
fine. But for me, it was like this program talking about that constantly, talking about and like trying to live it, changed how I like showed up to other relationships, how I showed up to like the other things I was doing. And it came down to like alignment for me. I'm like, well, if this is out here, I'm doing this in yoga, it can't be aligned. And so that was like one of the biggest insights I think that happened slowly throughout this program.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank goodness, Reba. We need you there. You know, that's the sad thing. You know, Amber and I went to a remembrance yesterday. It was of like the love of her life in her 20s, this guy, Josh. And as we're driving away, she was like, you know, something an ex-girlfriend told me about how Josh was before we got together gave me a lot of relief to realize that was just him, not something I turned him into when they broke up. It was like a thing. He didn't want to have kids and she did, and you know. And I was like, well, you know, Josh, because she asked, she goes, you know, the dude had shingles when he was 25. Like that doesn't happen. You don't get shingles when you're 25 unless you're extremely stressed. She's like, he never once mentioned he was stressed out to me. And I go, well, so the conversation progressed and I said something about like I've been saying, what would Josh tell you now? Like what, that may have been a really good conversation topic at the lunch where nobody even talked about Josh the entire time. It was kind of a weird remembrance. Everybody was just like, can you believe this world we live in? Which I get, people need to blow off steam, but I was like, well, maybe we should have asked what would Josh, and she goes, I don't know, what do you think? And I said, the truth is I knew Josh really well until I got to know him better and realized the better I got to know him, the less I knew him and the more it made me suspicious of him, especially in a role of like somebody who is with my sister in a way that's like, is this dude on the level? Because like the deeper I get to know him, not only is he not who I thought he was, but I have less of a clue who he is. And he died never really, and it wasn't a conscious thing that Josh was doing. It was an unconscious thing. He never had the facility. He had never given himself whatever this thing is that you gave yourself, and this was the catalyst. The 300 hour was the catalyst for it, but you still also could have not done it. You know what I mean? You still could have also been like, no, I'm going to keep, because that's hard and that feels scary and I don't want to go there and I don't want to deal with it. So I'm not really going to be accountable or real with myself. And people die without ever really facing the truth. And sometimes they bury it so deep down in them, they don't even know that they're doing it like Josh did. And that's when I realized all those people around the table love Josh so much because of the way he performed. He was a performer and he put on a great show, let's face it. But at the end of the day, it's sad because he's dead at 50. And I'm of the belief he's probably dead because he lived a lot of his life in a lie. He's dead younger than he should have been, in my opinion. But I can't know that for certain, of course, but lies don't make us well. Even when we're unconscious of the lie, even when we're like, it's tucked away in the closet, like it's still affecting our life. So thank you. That's brave to share. I also heard a lot of story from this group over here about burnout. And I think that's a huge theme for this year. Like we are so taxed, like our world has changed as Americans. And I don't want to get into like right or wrong or who's who or what, but like we can all agree the tax of being an American has changed a lot in this world. And in a way that we have to come to terms with that certain things, that how we used to proceed in living our life and energy investments and how we allocated energy, we just don't have the same amount to give. And so a lot of things like, and I heard Amber talking about this, I heard Ashlyn talking about this, things that you loved once, like yoga, can start to feel like a burden of obligation because you're just so tapped and you're so exhausted. And I just want to say that that's a normal part of growth. And so I think a lot of times we invest ourselves so deeply into a community, kind of like what you were saying, Eden. We're so into it, and it's like, no, we don't want to disappoint the people that we've kind of built these relationships upon. And it's like, but also remember, like we've all been there. Yeah, it happens. And you just keep going through it until you've gone through the other side. What else came up for people who want to share? Yeah, Lacey.
So all of it really stood out to me. This has been the year of yoga for me. But freedom really spoke to me because I started this year in 200 hour. Being down here in the Springs, I hadn't been down here for going on like 2.5 years. Was that the beginning of the year? And I didn't have any friends yet down here, and I didn't have a job besides kind of running my Airbnb. I didn't really have a purpose besides being a great partner and a great dog mom. And I just kind of said, F it, this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I'm terrified, but I'm going to do my 200 hour. It was so fantastic. But then I decided to do 300 hours at the same time. And it has been so challenging. And I had such low self-esteem and confidence in myself at the beginning. just in my life in general. And this has given me the freedom and the confidence to be able to now start working towards creating my own yoga retreats. And it's made such a big impact on me that I want to share that with the world. And so, yeah.
You know, it's a weird thing because you would never say to somebody you love, I hope something really hard for you happens, right? But at the same time, we don't get better if we don't do the hard thing. And
This has been the year.
you've gotten a lot better. Who else wants to share? Yeah.
I'd say, I know I didn't talk about this in our little group, but like as everyone's sharing, this is really kind of struck a chord. I never knew I needed a community.
Mm.
And I sure as hell got one. Like, I thought I could get through school by myself. I thought I could be like a lone wolf, like those yogis who go live out in a house by themselves on a mountain and have no communication with the world. I thought that could be me. And I was like, that's how I'm gonna learn. And then I come to this group, and like I said yesterday, I've become more personable. I've become more approachable. Not only have I seeked out help from you guys here and heard from you guys and felt so validated when I was having tough days, like Lisa would randomly just text me and I'd be like, how did you know I needed a text right now? Or I can reach out to Anna, just like, hey man, like, how are you doing? Because I'm not doing well. Like, I thought I could get through 5 years at university by myself, and I'm finding out that I can't. And it's so weird because my husband's very much like that lone, like, I don't have any friends. And like after you, like, that's one thing I missed from the Marine Corps is the camaraderie. Like, you go through this big suck in life and you get really tight, and then you go and leave, and all of a sudden you're on your own, and you're like, where's Papa Dog? Like, and I've found that amongst you guys. I found camaraderie, I found community, I found connection. And I think that was the greatest, like I said yesterday, was the $3,000 worth it? Was the manic episode worth it? Yes, I think it was. I think that hit just at the right time, just like hitting university at the right time. So I think, like, thank you guys. And that would be my,
That's beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say something like, I'm the opposite, and I'm so sorry, but I feel the opposite of free because I've allowed myself to care for you guys, you know. Sorry. I don't feel free because I can't now. And I'm always just, I held everybody far away, sharing just enough to make you feel close to me where I don't have to be close to you, you know? I'm so sorry. And I don't want to make this about me because it is about all of you guys, and I want it to be a good thing, but it's just heavy because I don't, like, I wanted to leave and disappear off the face of the earth because I care so much about you guys, you know. So stupid. I'm sorry. I care about you too. That's the thing. I want to be able to disappear. I don't want anybody to care about me, and yet do. So thank you for that. But also, holy shit, I have a lot to figure out in my life. I don't know why I'm so fundamentally broken.
Have you ever been in a foxhole with someone? Do you know what a foxhole is?
I know what a foxhole is, and holy shit, you sounded like my husband. He's always like, have you ever been to Kandahar? There's the answer.
Who's the tallest man you've ever met?
there's something about it, when you leave that hole, you wanna disappear, you wanna isolate. But you know what? If it wasn't for that mofo keeping you awake at midnight. Like. It's a hate-love relationship. And it's spicy. But there's something tantalizing about it, and it eventually becomes addicting. And I don't know what a foxhole has to do with spice, but my brain is everywhere right now. And I wanna be comforting, but my brain is on peppers now. So it's spicy and you don't want it. But after the spice kind of settles down and you like pain, like as soon as that spice settles down, you're like, that was actually pretty good. And then you go back and it's like, no, that wasn't good. And then you go back again. You have to trust that eventually the spice, there's a reason behind it. It sucks. It really sucks. Cause trust me, when I used to be the same, I was like, no one's gonna be my friend. No. No one's gonna know about me. All you know, I'm schizophrenic. Like, I didn't hide that very well. But there was something that allowed me to open up, and now I open up to people at the DMV.
That person.
I'm that person. So I've been where you are. And it doesn't help for me to say this now, because I know what it's like to be on the receiving end. It does get better.
Hmm.
It doesn't help, but it does.
I thought that becoming a teacher would be great because I could watch their good moments. And just kind of that separation. And it turns out when we do 300-hour academia, we don't get that. It's luxury. So thank you. And
Well, I'm glad you're back in. Thanks for sharing that. And I really like the pepper foxhole metaphor.
I got
That's
it.
good. Yeah, no, it's good.
Sierra's machine guns, knife in the head.
I heard the knife in the head. But I want to hear about others' experiences. So I think we're down to you three and you two. So do you want to share?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think everybody kind of, I feel like I've already talked about it, but, yeah, this experience for me was just like, again, I've known all this stuff intellectually. I started reading stuff when I was 20. That's a long time ago, right? And there's been times of growth and then drought and then growth and then drought and then, but, I feel like I've just experienced a truth for me spiritually, at a much deeper level. So it's starting to, yeah, like it's one of those things you didn't know that you didn't have it till you have it.
Yeah, I get
Like
that.
you don't know how great a friendship can be until you have that really great friend. And I feel like there were moments where I had some peace in my life, some acceptance of what was, some, really letting go of the past or not fearing the future, staying in today, thinking I was doing it. And I feel like I've gotten a little closer, right? Do I think this journey is anywhere near the end? Absolutely not. And thank you, that's not. What do we say? We're all kind of seekers. Well, we know that we want to grow. We know that we want to show up differently, and we get it here.
Mhm.
But when it starts to, when I feel like I'm embodying it differently now. And God, the fear for me, there's fear, is that this is going to go away, right? That I only have that for just, this is going to change in 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Like that whole idea of how can I hang on to this feeling? And it's minute by minute. It's minute by minute, right? This work is consistent for me. And, but that's good. Like,
Mhm.
I don't look at it as like, ugh, work. It's that this stuff pays off. Like the work we're doing, it shows up in our lives in such a way that like so worth it, right? Okay, so I have to do a meditation or pranayama or teach yoga or take yoga class, but gosh, what different people we end up being. And without it,
Mhm.
I don't stand a chance. I know, I will revert back to my old way of thinking, because my ego will become more powerful, right, than the truth.
That's good. Nice. Do you care to share, Maria?
Sure. Put something. So yes, most grateful for sure is the people. The wisdom we've shared with one another, the support, like how incredibly supporting this group has been through, you know, some of the challenges and yeah. So
Okay,
that's
thanks. Yeah. Jacob?
Yeah, sure. So I don't, so the thing that I'm most grateful for this program, I don't know if this makes sense, but back when I first started yoga, yoga helped me to be the stoic that I always wanted to be, because I was just based in the stoicism and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was really never able to get to a place where, so I said, yeah, this is where you're going, but I never really quite made it there. And then through my like yoga practice over the years, it kind of helped me get to a place where I actually wanted to be and why I was studying that stuff. And then being here at 300, I learned a lot more about what I can do, the things I can do for myself to get me to be in the place of where I want to go.
Nice. Love it. So glad to hear that. Amber or Ashlyn, would you like to share?
Sure, I will turn off my video in hopes that my audio will come through clearly. Can you hear me?
Sounds great. Yeah.
The thing that came up most, and it somewhat piggybacks off of Reba's, is sobriety. And so I kind of navigate through life in a really hungry way. And I have this deep fascination for yoga. And I realize that it's this, I said it yesterday, but this big iceberg. And I came to the realization that if I really start early or start now, I can put in the work to begin digging deeper down the iceberg. And so I'm really grateful that this had the outlet to carve out the structure for me to take personal time and learn. And I think this whole process has really served as kind of the Windex. Like if I am not sober, I'm not going to be able to see clearly or do my practices or hone in the way that I want to be diligent to the practices and what they demand of you. Like when we first started, I didn't believe that we had chakras and I thought it was frivolous or woo-woo. And it's just really shifted and I have a deeper appreciation and belief. And I think that's a really big part of it, is not just knowing it and not just nodding to it, but deeply believing. So I'm grateful for that deeply.
Oh, wow. That makes me smile. Thank you, Amber. That's such a good one. I relate to so much of what you just said. I definitely, I just, appreciate that. Okay, Ashlyn?
I'm also gonna turn my video off so you can hear me better. I was actually the one talking about burnout, and my biggest fear when I started realizing the feeling I was having was burnout, was that I would eventually like stop loving yoga the way I do. And I don't know if it was the Sangha or if it was just everything we were able to get through this program that made me realize like it's not that I don't like yoga and it's not that I'm losing interest in my hobbies. It's that I started feeling like everything was just one more thing to do on my to-do list. It was just like I wasn't going to yoga on Sundays because I loved yoga on Sundays. I was going because it was something to check off my to-do list. I wasn't doing 300-hour homework because I wanted to read the book or because I wanted to deepen my practice. It was one more thing to check off my to-do list. And the exhaustion of that hit me so hard, especially this month with all the other like personal stuff going on and family stuff going on. And I kind of at this moment where I realized like when I was doing the yoga, when I was doing the assignments, when I was reading the books, it didn't feel like a to do. It was just leading up to it. So, very much the first sutra yoga is now. The practice of yoga is now. Just go do it. You'll feel better. And I just really love that I found that comfort because it made feeling burnt out feel much less like the end of the world and much more like the next step towards what I'm doing.
Thank you, Ashlyn. Yeah, it's wonderful to see all of your growth. I mean, you are, like Ryan said yesterday, like, you know, we get to watch you grow because you don't really see it because it's happening to you every day, right? Like we get like these chunks of time away from you. So then when we see you in another month, it's like, oh, it's like when I was a little kid and I go visit my dad over summer. And then, 2 weeks later, I hadn't seen my mom for 2 weeks. She's like, you're so tall, kid. And it's like, well, I've been growing every day when I was around you, Yeah, I think that it's a great opportunity to think about. Oh, by the way, I do want to say, as per your check-in, y'all are not the first people to go through 300-hour and be like, yoga, ugh. Right? Like, it's just like, it opens up the thing in such a big way where you're just like, too much, no more. And the truth is like, the only yoga you need is the yoga you need right now. So, all this stuff, if you were to just, go, which one connects to the thing that's most important to me that I wrote down? That's really your next step. But that's the maintenance zone, right? The stretch zone. And for some of you, it's about being a teacher. So for some of you, you're not sure. And for some of you, it's just about being a student. That's perfectly fine. But the same way we said, how did the sadhana serve you and how did it stretch you? So what of this is going to serve the answers to what we just did? But also, what if this is going to stretch you as either a teacher, a student, or a human being in life, right? In the way that you want to be able to come back to this at some future date and be able to say, I've kept the needle moving in the right direction. Oh, I've taken some steps there. So one thing that will help with that is this letter to future self. So this is going to be your homework for this next month. I've just assigned it in the classroom. There's 6 questions. What you'll do is you'll write it out, type it out, however you want to, but it's going to be in a physical form in a self-addressed envelope with postage already on it. Do not bring it sealed, because if we have time, we're going to read them if people want to. There's no obligation to read them, but it's a really powerful thing to read them. And this letter is an extension of the work we just started here. This gift of like, this is the start of like, well, what did I get? But now we transfer it to like, what am I giving to my future self, right? So this will put some, I don't know, you can think of it as like SMART goals to use or whatever. Keeps you accountable to your future with all this work, so it doesn't get left behind, so it doesn't get set down. And you wouldn't anyway, but it's going to make it that much more powerful when there's intention in the foundation of how we move forward from here, because let's face it, like when this ends, that's another transformation. So how do we want it to end in a way where we also recognize that ending is an opportunity for a new beginning, and we don't wipe the slate clean. We can tether what we want and what serves us and what stretches us forward into that. So that all leaves us at the last moment here with commencements, and I'm kind of like, I don't know how this is going to work because I don't know who's missing and who's still in this. It's all nebulous to me. I don't know. Are you guys still in the 300-hour? Yeah, I think you are. But we could just do it now. I don't know, we could save it for a later date, you could just do it privately. How it's gone traditionally is, it's just a way of blessing another person in the Sangha and wishing them well and thanking them for who they were. It's just simple as that. So I think that it might be nice to do it now, but I know that not everybody is here. But are you up to do it now? Are you all right to do it after all the work we've done already? Been lots of heavy lifting, but like if you're willing to just do one more thing before we wrap today up and just offer some words of love and care to your Sangha, we could go for it.
Like 2-minute break.
Let's do it.
Okay, cool.
Let's get a cookie maybe. Let's really settle in with an orange and a cookie. Wow, everybody was holding their bladder apparently. Yeah, so let's at home, we'll 5-6 minutes, okay?
I'm making an appointment. It's just being worse. It hurts so bad. Sitting on the floor. I order it. I don't have like a necessary. But it's not long. I was like, oh. I'm gonna do this thing. Usually I have.
Here's that sigh of relief. Maria, you said you're teaching 2 classes right now?
Yes, it takes.
What are you teaching?
Nutrition.
Is it like 1 and 2 or the same?
No, it's the same, it's human nutrition 101.
But 2 times a week or whatever.
4 times.
So 2 per class. Is it a lot?
It is a lot.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of students.
Yeah. How many students do you have?
So it's around a little over 20 per class.
Okay.
So
It's a lot to like grade and stuff and.
that, and then the practice, so I'm usually rushing from. the
Oh, yeah.
class To my office.
Was that full time or?
Yeah.
Really? Do you do that 40 hours a week too?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I try not to do more.
Wow.
Yeah, like patient, add to patient care and all the administrative work that I have to do. So, yeah, adjusting to. I just point.
Good for you. Yeah. Are you you're having fun doing it,
I love those.
but are you also having fun outside of it?
And yes.
Is there time?
Mine is visiting next weekend, we're going to Moab.
Yay!
My goal is to do 4 retreats a year. And I was thinking to start with 1, which is started in May, but now I have 3 more.
Like, oh.
I was gonna the end of the year.
Wow.
And then I was like, I'm going to not be driving. But.
Hey, Ashna, can I do Anna instead since Alexis isn't here and then I'll still do. Just that way, we're here and getting.
That'd be wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. Does everybody have somebody
Yeah.
that's here today? Okay.
My answer is if I know,
I'm gonna take, you know what? You did it so confidently. I was like, hell yeah.
It's like, oh, this is what we're doing today, but I don't. No, I'm.
I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
Oh, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Reba, are you, so you started a new job at the academy?
No,
Are you front desk like admin or, oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you went to Bachavato in Atlanta?
I went to it was called Afro. It was Evento Afro, and I don't know. Do you know who Mestre Bimba is?
Of course.
Mestre Bimba's son was there.
Oh,
It was amazing.
wow.
I was like, whoa. So that was really cool.
Is Capoeira Jingo still under Mestre Loca?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, Capoeira.
Have you met him?
I've never, I don't think I've met Mestre Loca. I've heard a lot about him.
He kicked me once,
I bet he
right in the
did.
stomach, like out of the, yeah, like knocked me in the event style. Yeah,
That's what I've heard about Mestre Loca, is he's fighting.
he lit me up.
This one was very music. It was very much about the
Oh,
music.
cool.
It was about the Afro culture.
Oh,
It was
cool.
all like Angola style.
I love Angola. That's my
They
favorite.
grew up in a church.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, they play Angola in this like little area, and it was like, yeah, Mestre Contra Mestre Gugu was there. He's like the world champion.
Oh, okay. I don't
And
know. Yeah.
there's like a Red Bull something or other, and he's there. And Mestra Amazonas was there.
Huh?
She's like such a.
She's from Texas, right?
I could not figure out where she was from. She's like, I just changed my voice depending on
Yeah.
where I am. She's
Yeah.
amazing.
She is amazing.
They had Afro-Brazilian dance, so we did some of that, and I was exhausted.
Did you guys do the thing with the,
We did makulele.
Makulele,
We did
yeah.
makulele, we did, yeah, this stuff I haven't gone to do, so tons of samba. We did tons of samba. And
Makulele
break-
is super cool.
Like, we had a break dancer
Yeah.
coming in.
Who was it?
His name was King, shoot, I don't remember. King Quick? Yeah, King Quick.
Oh man, that takes me back. I love it.
I love capoeira.
Me too.
I feel like yoga and capoeira like
Oh, yeah.
intersect in all these
My,
ways.
I used to bring the capoeiristas to do demos in the yoga studio.
Oh, yeah.
So we used to
I feel
do,
like they do that again, because I think it'd be really cool.
we could do it.
I
We set
could
it
talk
up.
to Ann,
Yeah.
you know?
All right. Now we're gonna do some makulele. No, just kidding. Commencements.
Rachel is ready.
She was, she knows it.
It'd be so funny.
All right, so let's get ready to receive this and do this. Who wants to go first? Yeah, I'm gonna hand you the iPad. We'll pass it around because I just fear that some things are getting lost as words get quiet, and I want to make sure you all hear it.
I'm okay here for this.
So,
Hi. So since we're on this topic of retreats, and I was sharing my retreat in May and a few forthcoming, and you shared that you want to do retreats, you want to offer that to the world. And I wish you the best of luck with that, because it is so much needed in the world to just gather a group of people or a group of women, better yet. I'm sorry, but like it's a certain energy. And provide that healing space, that love through different practices. It's just such a gift. And I did organized my first retreat in May, and I could just see the shift, like by the time that people were done. And then the conversations kept on going between, in our group chat for the retreat, and what changes have come forth for these people. So it's such a gift to really give to the world, and different destinations. Traveling yoga retreats, I feel like, were the best. For this May one that I did, a whole bunch of people came from different states to Glenwood Springs, whereas we had that nature aspect, in the hot springs and the vapor caves. So again, just, I wish you the best of luck and the easiest and the most joyful time organizing it and giving that gift to people. And thank you for being in this group. You are extremely supportive. So I really enjoyed knowing you, and I look forward to, our relationships to continue developing. This is a wonderful group. Yeah, you're gonna be great. You'll yeah, if you have a heart for it, you're gonna do great things during those retreats.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Being somewhere by two.
Yeah, totally.
All right. So I had Jacob, and I was actually really happy when Amber said we were paired together because I've had the privilege of knowing you in 200 hours. So I kind of feel like I've seen this growth trajectory in a way that's been, yeah, it's unique. For me, seeing your confidence building over this, when we started 200 hour to now is, you know, I don't know if you give yourself enough credit of just how much a teacher you really are and how much you've taught me inadvertently, like just by being my friend. You've taught me so much about stoicism, about philosophy, the detail that you've put into your studies and the things you actually know um, are I always think to myself, like, wow, I forgot so much of that. And Jacob has that knowledge. And I really appreciate getting the opportunity to grow in our friendship. And so when I got that it was you that was commencing, I was so excited because, yeah, you're someone who's really special to me. Yeah, in the future, you know where you should be, I think. I think you're in the right place with the right people and that you're doing one of the hardest things, which I think is going into teacher training to like get more comfortable being around people is kind of like going skydiving to get comfortable with heights. So the fact that you're doing that is absolutely admirable. So you have so much bravery and I think so much more to give the world. And yeah, thank you for teaching me so much. And I can't wait to be in more part of your journey, being maybe in your classes or whatever you do next. So whatever it is, I know you're going to grow and meet that challenge. So yeah, so much gratitude to you, Jacob.
Can I do you now, Reba, since you have the iPad? What I wrote because I wanted to make sure I got everything in. I said, Reba, what a joy it has been to get to know you weekend by weekend over the past few months. I have to say, bliss washed over me when Amber pointed to you in that hurried assigning of partners. My first impression of you, if I recall, went something like, dang, that girl is my vibe and such a badass. She's eloquently also figure skating, capoeira, anime, yoga. Forward 6 to 7 months now, when I think of you, I simply feel inspired and warmed. I remember feeling absolutely christened from experiencing your yoga nidra script. It was like being gifted this exquisitely crafted gift with pristine wrapping and the most dazzling bow. The way you handwritten it word for word, delivered it with your sweet, wholesome voice. Maybe it was that same month that you had the whole room doing handstands. They're some of my fondest memories of this entire training. I won't pretend to know the details, but you endured a major life event in the midst of all of this, uncoupling from your boyfriend. And from what I can tell from afar, is that you are handling it with the utmost dignity, being vulnerable with your community and asking for support. So thank you for continually showing up with your eager eyes, your positivity, and your genuine nature. I will always cherish our connection and welcome the space in the future for more memories.
This.
Thank you, Amber. Dang, I don't even know what to say. That was awesome.
Amber,
really-
assignment. She understood the assignment.
Understanding this.
Yeah, you just say thanks.
Thank you.
Just take it.
All right.
Yeah.
Taking it.
All right, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it might sound like a love letter, but I swear it's just all love. Okay. Eden. Ew, yikes. I am so grateful to have experienced this 300-hour training alongside you. When I think about you, I think about just this like consistent, this might sound weird, but like this consistent, like I know that you're always gonna be there. It's like, you know, the weight that holds the balloon down or the rock that keeps the thing from flying away. And I don't know if that analogy is a good analogy or not, but it's just like this, it's you're grounding and you're calm and you're present and you're there. And I just feel like it's such a consistent energy that when you're not here on those weekends, like your presence and your absence is so felt and missed. And I have so loved that. You and I have connected about our familial baggage and some of the heavy burdens that we carry. And I feel like when we talk or when you share, I just see this essence of like, this is gonna sound so cliche, but truly like I see you as this beautiful flower that doesn't even quite know how beautiful and wonderful you are and how vast your bloom is and how like wonderful and lovely your petals are. And I feel like you don't quite see that about yourself sometimes, but like I very much feel that and see that from you. I keep using the word consistent over and over again, but it just, you feel grounded, you feel like a consistent presence. I can't say that enough. Your energy is just so calm and present and relatable, and you make me just feel so very safe in your presence. When we're in group together, just sharing, I appreciate so much of your perspective and opinion. And I can't say how grateful enough I am for you. But I hope that wherever life leads you next, that space, that place holds the space for you, just like you've held it back for all of us. Thank you for always checking in, listening, chatting, catching up, your wonderful baked goods. And I know you love that, but like truly on top of everything else we have to do, it's so much extra time that you take to do that. And I know that you love it, but it really does show your love for people in the community and us. I can't reiterate enough the point that wherever you land next, I hope that that place holds space for you the same way that I felt like you held for me. And you know, when you look up your name, Eden has a few different meanings, but I wanted to go to the most trusted source, Urban Dictionary. And according to username Broleanne, Eden is a best friend. She will make you laugh any day, anywhere, anytime. She is funny, beautiful, caring, loving, loyal, and so much more. You will never find anyone else like Eden. But don't get on her bad side or else she can roast you better than a rotisserie chicken. So I don't know like if you've got some mad roasting skills, but I'm a comedy gal, so you'll have to fill me in on that. All jokes aside, username Berlian got it right because I do believe you are so funny, beautiful, caring, loving, loyal, and so much more. So I'm so grateful for you.
I'll go next because I have Ashlyn.
Hi.
So delish.
That was beautiful. And so true.
Your cookies. She baked you up a nice condensed.
Oh, Ashlyn. I could say so many kind words about you. We do not have enough time to say everything that I want to say, but I don't know if you remember, but the first Saturday of 300 Hour when we were here, I sat next to you. And I was terrified being here. I was so overwhelmed by all the new faces. And you were so kind. You acknowledged me. You talked to me. We laughed together. And it just made me feel like so much more welcomed and comforted. And I just really appreciated that from the beginning. But I've also really connected with you because you're very vulnerable and very honest about where you are. And I'm the same way. In my 200 Hour, I was the really vulnerable person. And I've always been that way. And at first, I think it kind of intimidated some of my 200 Hour people, but by the end of it, we were all an emotional mess and we're vulnerable with each other and closer together because of it. So I truly believe in vulnerability, and I just so greatly appreciate that you are the same way. And I also think you're that way in your practice, but you're also really playful and bubbly in your practice, which I really love as well. I've the few times that I have seen you teach through 300-hour. It's always been fun, and you've always been giggly and playful and just creative. And I really like that. And I think that sometimes we need that in a practice. It doesn't always need to be so serious, and you really make it fun. And I really enjoy that. And I hope that as you continue growing and teaching and learning, that you're able to hold on to those things and continue sharing that vulnerability, because we need that in the world, and continue being playful, because we also need that. We are so stuck in being adults now and needing to be serious and needing to do our to-do lists and all these things, that we forget to connect with that inner child sometimes. And I think yoga especially is a great way to do that. And so I'm just so thankful for getting to know you, and you're amazing.
I'm gonna like cry.
I feel tearful too, so.
No, you're fine. I just want to be able to see.
I want to be able to say anything. Maria. And I'm so glad that I got you as my commencement partner, because you're like, your kindness and gentleness is just so transcendent. It's like when you come into the room, it's just this like quiet energy that, I don't know, it's like warm. It's just warm. You radiate warmth, and your silky smooth voice and calm way of just like dealing with people just shows how much you really truly care about people, and how much you want to make a change in the world, one person at a time, or with your retreats too. Like, it's so apparent to anybody who even halfway has their eyes open that you care so much about people. And I just love that. And that's all I have.
Thank you so much. Right. You ready, kid? You're about to get comments. All right. Buckle up, baby girl. Okay, so first off, I want to say I'm really, really, really fucking proud of you for A, coming back in here, because that's not easy, but B, showing up here in the way that you have, knowing that you came into it with this kind of idea or attitude of like, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it from here. And being able to sense that at first, and then see you kind of slowly open up and let the guard down a little bit, whether you meant to or not, has been really, really fun to watch, because it's not only allowed us to get to know you on a deeper level and you us, it's given you a confidence that I've seen grow each and every weekend that you're here. I've seen you come in, with more energy, bright, happy, excited to see everybody. And that's a version of you that deserves to be in spaces where you feel seen and you feel understood, and that the energy is reciprocated. And I want to really nail that in for you, that you deserve to be in spaces like that, and you deserve to be cared about, even if it's uncomfortable. So know that you can take your time to be by yourself. That's fine. Understand that you will always have Sangha to come back to, and we'll wait for you as long as you need. But you deserve to be here. You deserve to be in this room. You deserve to be cared about and loved. And I'm just so happy I've got to see you grow and gotten to be your friend through this. And I don't plan on stopping. So you're held and you're safe. And I'm just so happy to see you continually grow and allow your walls to come down. Because it's not. Where's it go?
Is that how you peg?
Oh.
You can kind of. Oh, iPads are weird. Okay. What can I say that will sum it up? Nothing. So I'm gonna just go for it. All right. You are unapologetically you. And I love that about you. You bring years of experience of life that many of us, many moons we haven't seen. You bring a version of a wealth of knowledge and a perspective that is so different from anyone in this room. You are uniquely and unapologetically you. And I want you to continue that. You are an amazing person. You say how you take it from minute, and you don't want to lose what you gained here. And I know with your discipline, your dedication, and your experience, you will continue to grow in that path. Never, always happy, never satisfied. The best way I can sum it up is the conversation we had yesterday when we were doing our advanced series together. And just the amount of magnitude you have for passion of helping others and growing in yourself shines with a radiance that illuminates a room and can illuminate a community. So I want to encourage you, you've got this. As you continue to grow your own light, it will shed on others and brighten theirs as well. You are an amazing person. Thank you so much for holding the space for all of us, being patient with each of us, and having this uniqueness about you. Like, some of us are a little more timid, but you were like, I'm Peg. And I love that about you. And it's something that I hope that you continue and you grow. And you've got this. I think you're awesome.
Right. All right, I have Amber. Hi, Amber. Hi, Ashlyn. Wow, I'm not that good at, putting words to how I feel. Well, sometimes.
Really, please.
I can, but not always. So anyway, gosh, I just want to say that I had, when I came in here, I was like, yeah, the oldest, well, not the oldest, but one of the oldest ones. And I kind of felt like, okay, these girls are in a certain place in their lives and they're closer than me. And so I want to say, if I have any regret, Amber, talking to you specifically, is that I didn't get to know you better, right? I felt like I got to know you better than in the beginning, right? And I'll say, when you first came in, so anyway, I hope to continue a relationship. And even though you're far away, we were talking about doing a book group. And I just think it would be nice because we were all caught up, I think, in what was needed to come here and get shit done. And so didn't necessarily ask all the questions to get to know you better, but I hope we have a chance to do that. I really do. But when you first came in, I was like, intimidated, not gonna lie. And yeah, I don't know, just the way you held yourself, and it just seemed like, oh, she's a lot. I don't know. And I don't even know what that meant, but what I want to say about that is the first impressions can be so stupid and unclear. And as I've gotten to know you, we did work a little bit together. And yeah, what I realized about you is you do have you have a lot of sides to you, I guess I'll say. You had a very serious side, but brilliant. I started listening to you share about on the readings and the topics. And I just love, I love the way you see things. I love the way you see the world and everything that we talk about in here, and that you are
continually wanting to grow. But yeah, you have a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge that, yeah, for someone your age, that's amazing. For somebody my age, that would be amazing. So, I wanted to share that. And then also the playfulness that you brought, that was so shocking to me. And, I don't know who, everybody was here, I think. I don't know if Austin was here the day that you couldn't stop laughing. And it was so good for me to see that also, because, you know, we don't always show up in these spaces and bring all our sides. There's sides to me you guys probably don't know, but that was hysterical because you couldn't hide it. And I still honestly want to know what was so effing funny that you were like gonna pee your pants and you couldn't stop. But it also showed me a side of you that was very vulnerable and playful and whimsical, and you know, that was lovely. So the other thing I wanted to say was, when we did work together, that other piece was that you showed up in such a caring, thoughtful, genuine way, right? When we were talking about our workshops, or when we were even just doing a little bit of yoga work together on our sequencing. Yeah, I would like to get to know that person better. I would like to get to know that person a lot better. So I am sad that this is ending, and I hope that we can continue, right? Because I feel like the tip of the iceberg, right? We've just all sort of learned some about each other, but I'd love to grow on this journey with you, Amber, and yeah, with everybody in here. So
Thank you, Peg. I forgot all about that already. Thank you for
So, I'm Tisa, and it was actually kind of funny that because you were talking about like imposter syndrome and all those things this morning, and I was just like, and I wanted to chime in because I was like, spoiler for this afternoon, but I have something for you. Believe it or not, I wrote this last night. So when we first met you, you were a voice that came out of a computer screen. A few months later, we finally got to meet you in person. My first memory of in-person you was you teaching our restorative yoga. I was at night that we had our restorative yoga teaching night. And I remember how impressed I was. You had an authoritative and firm, but also kind and gentle voice. This is a real yoga teacher, I thought. So yeah, when you were saying that, I was like, wow. You always have an authentically friendly and joyful air about you that I appreciate you very much. Thank you for your presence in 300 Hour and also being a member of our Sangha. I wish you the best in your pregnancy and wherever life takes you.
And then Ashlyn, yeah? Who's Ashlyn?
All right. I have Sierra.
Oh, we all forgot about Sierra. Take it.
That's okay, I'm just a fly on the wall guy.
Haven't heard Sierra.
My camera's off because it's the only way for you to hear me well. So
Okay, we know
I'm
you're
sorry you can't see my beautiful face,
That's
but I
okay.
can see yours. I also wrote mine down because I worried I would burst into tears. Sierra, being around you feels like a warm cup of tea. You're so open with your successes and your struggles, which makes me, and I'm sure others, feel more comfortable sharing our own struggles and our own successes. You treat fallbacks with as much enthusiasm as you overcome them. It's like every fallback is a new chance and every success is an open door. Not only are you strong and kind, you're incredibly impressive. Being able to take this journey with you has been an honor, and I just know you'll go do great things. Just going to get coffee with you or pick up lunch with you has been a treat like no other. Being able to call you a friend is a privilege, but being able to call you part of my Sangha has given me joy like no other. To say I love you feels like an understatement because truly meeting you felt like reconnecting with a long lost family member. I recognized some of your struggles as I've seen them in my own dad, as he was also a Marine, and it will never stop impressing me how well you handle everything, how well you've reintegrated, especially outside of a military setting. I'm starting to cry, so I can't read anymore. You're truly so impressive, not just as a professional, but as a human being. Really, truly, deeply, I hope I never have to part with you.
Thank you.
Wow. I'm glad we did that.
That's so lovely.
Yeah. I know you gotta go, but we're done. So can we just do one Om and then the quick word to close it? Do you have time for that? Okay, cool. I was gonna teach you all a 32 stanza mantra.
We're going.
Yeah. So we'll do the Om and then say our word and then see you next month for workshops and our program completion. Okay, so take a deep breath in. Ooh. I'll say commend.
Begin.
Confidence.
Community.
Breathe,
Amber? Breathe,
breeze.
breeze. Ashlyn?
Nap.
Nap? Okay, cool. All right, thank you all so much. Oh.
One more time, just to seal us.
Yeah, the poem, the poem.
Rebecca wanted to look at.
Yeah.
And also, I think that just is a good, I don't know, going into the rest of it and sealing the end of it, not to be like, can I read again?
I love it.
I'm just gonna sit here if that's okay. Does that make you
Great.
uncomfortable?
No, would you like to make eye contact or not?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
One eyeball down, reading the poem, the other eyeball on me.
Okay.
Arriba.
Bye, Reba. Okay, it is called the Sangha of Hope, and I wrote it for yoga teachers. These people included. So it goes like this. It is said that in times of chaos to look for the helpers. We breathe in, realizing that we, sweet Sangha, are the helpers. We breathe out, creators of peaceful presence, safe places, spaces of acceptance, of hope, warriors of peace, encouragers of peaceful minds, and the settling of weary hearts. We breathe in. While the world rages around us, we breathe out. We stand on shaky legs. We teach even when our hearts are weary. We breathe in, hold space, and guide peace. Called to be a drop of calm in a raging sea, we breathe out. Called to still waters so that the drops of peace may multiply in the waves that threaten to swallow, we breathe in. We flow through rights and lefts, remembering, always remembering, that the core that connects the two is a heart. Fast beating, but calming down, we breathe out. On and off the mat, that's what connects us. We teach, guide, and encourage peace and the connection of hearts. And friends, teach it publicly, teach it privately, teach it to yourself again and again and again. We are the helpers. We breathe in, yoga teachers, warriors of peace, a Sangha of hope. We breathe out.
You wrote that last night?
No, I wrote this a couple of weeks back.
Oh,
but
okay.
I wrote it.
I love that.
theme.
You know, we have that poem at the Austin Bluffs on the dry erase board.
Oh, yeah, the
It's
one
been
that
there
Heather,
forever.
yeah, since my $200.
We should replace it with that. It's time. Put something new up there. So next time you're there.
Yeah.
Will you write it up there?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
beautiful. I love that. Okay,
Bye.
that's all, folks.
Okay,
We'll
bye.
see ya. Bye, friends. Amber, let me know if you want to get that cup of coffee or whenever you want to talk, if
Okay.
that's needed. I want to make you feel heard and cared for, and feel safe and clear too. Make
Yeah.
sure intentions are clear and understood.
Yeah, it'll be nice someday. I'll let you know. Time passes, things feel better.
Good. Okay. Well, I really appreciate you.
Likewise. All right, see you soon.
Actually, I also think you're pretty great, so I hope you know that.
Think you're just the sweetest buttercup.
Bye, friend.
See you soon.